We've made it. Game 1, round 2. Sabres, Canadiens at KeyBank Center. Sam Carrick back at practice yesterday. He's day to day. And you can listen to WGR's Hometown Call with Dan and Rob as you watch the Sabres versus Habs playoff games. Pause with your DVR and Smart TV. Here's all you need to do. Download and open the WGR on the free Odyssey app. Pause the Sabres and Habs game on your Smart TV or DVR at Face-Off. When you hear Dan and Rob with the Face-Off on the app, hit play on your TV. Puck drop is set for 7 o'clock. Some scores from the playoffs, only one game last night. Colorado, they beat the Wild 5-2. They lead the series 2-0. And around the NFL, the Giants, they've agreed to terms with defensive lineman DJ Reader on a 2-year, $12.5 million deal. Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst said he expects edge rusher Micah Parsons and tight end Tucker Kraft back early in the season. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports that the criminal charges against L'Jarius Sneed have been dismissed. Sneed had been charged with aggravated assault and was reduced by the grand jury to the misdemeanor offense of a failure to report. And free agent wide receiver Stephon Diggs was found not guilty of assault yesterday. You can catch every take, every reaction, and every big Buffalo sports moment live now on YouTube with Jeremy and Joe in the morning and Schopp and the Bulldog every afternoon. Watch your favorite WGR hosts anytime, anywhere, live on air, live on YouTube. Brought to you by Belknap Heating and Cooling. For more comfort and less ka-ching, give Belknap a ring. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Hey, everybody, happy game day. It's raining. It's terrible. It's rough. Had T-ball practice canceled again. My son's never going to play T-ball this year. I've accepted it. I'm a coach on the team. We'll just not have a game. We'll not have a practice the whole year. Rained out, canceled, muddy field, this and that. Everything's getting canceled. Anyway, the game is on because it's inside. And Canal side, it should not be raining by the time you get down there tonight if you're going down to the arena for the party in the plaza and the party outside and the scene downtown. Not supposed to be rainy by the time we get to that. It could be damp, but not rainy. So, good morning. 803-0550 is our phone number, 1-888-550-2550. When I say we are loaded today, I mean we're loaded. Lots of guests. I tried to book. I thought for a moment, should I just have it be kind of like a Buffalo Bills Football Friday or Football Monday where we roll as many guests as possible and it's just nonstop about the game. And I left a couple open spots. But we've got Joe Marino, the Locked On Bills podcast at 7. That's before we maybe turn fully. We talked to Joe on Wednesdays, and we're going to do that again today. But Chad DeDominicis of Expected Buffalo at 7:30. Talked to him about the matchup. Paul Hamilton checks in at 8 o'clock. Liam McHugh of TNT. He'll be on the panel, of course, hosts the studio show. Liam McHugh joins us at 9:15, and Eric Engels of Sportsnet Montreal at 9:30. So, it's a pregame show, basically. We are rolling through towards Game 1 in the second round. Welcome to the second round. How's everybody feeling? How's everybody vibing? Good? It's feeling good? Let's get our picks in Shouldn't we do some version of picks? Shouldn't we pick what we think's going to happen? It might be different than, I don't know, do we ever pick against the Bills in the playoffs? I feel like I did the year they played Baltimore here and they won. I definitely picked Baltimore that year. I thought the Bills were kind of in rough shape, but they got the job done. So, all right, picks. I got a Twitter poll up. You can vote. Sabres in 4 or 5, Sabres in 6 or 7, Montreal in 4 or 5, Montreal in 6 or 7. What do you got? Boys, what do you got?
I got Sabres in 7. I think this is going to go the distance. I know that might be a little tough to hear, whatever, but I think this is going to be a fun, exhilarating series that takes it to 7 games.
Yeah, I'll go Sabres in 7 too. I was thinking about 6, but I think this is too even. I think you look at all the analytics people think it's even, all the hockey people think it's even. It's all shaping up to be a very fun, close series. So I'll go Sabres in 7.
This is a really good look into how everyone is feeling about the series, because I also think Sabres in 7.
Yes.
All right, so we all pick Sabres in 7, and how much of that is just because we are, not as bullish as we were on Boston. I mean, Boston, you probably should have felt good, and I saw Mike Kelly, NHL.com, saying that the thing that Boston struggled with, Montreal should struggle with it too, but not as badly. Like, basically, this is what the Sabres forecheck is elite. What they do on the forecheck is elite. And I had numbers from Mike Kelly on this. I'll get you some, deeper analytical numbers here that he had on the number of Sabres players individually that are great on the forecheck. It's not just like, oh, they're a good forechecking team. It's Buffalo leads the playoffs in forecheck chances and goals via takeaways. The Sabres have the 3 top forwards in the forechecking archetype he puts together, and 5 are in the top 25. Number 1, Krebs. Number 2, Benson. Number 3, Tuck. Number 10, Doan. And Jack Quinn is 22nd.
Wow.
Of all the forechecking, of all the playoff forwards in the NHL, you have 1, 2, 3, and they're not all 3 on the same line, by the way.
Right.
It's Krebs, Benson, and Tuck. Like, that says something.
Yes.
Right? And Doan and Quinn also in the top 25. So,
how about Quinn making that list?
I know.
As a forechecker.
I know.
How about the kid?
In the player model, that's what Mike Kelly of NHL Network has. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's very encouraging. And I think that there's a piece of that could make you feel like you could get after the little Hudson guy pretty good. Like, that might help neutralize him a little bit. If you take away his space, the Sabres are so big too that getting in on him and sort of just putting a blanket over top of him is what you need to do. Like, just get around him and don't let him get going.
They're definitely bigger than Montreal.
Yes,
right?
I think by a lot.
I saw numbers on that. The Sabres are the bigger team, and they're not like Boston, where Boston claimed to be bigger, and they weren't. And Boston claimed to be bigger, and it would have come at the expense of speed, because the Sabres are bigger, and they are not slower.
No.
Like, the good news is the Sabres are big and fast. So Montreal probably comes in feeling good. They took apart Tampa in 7 games. Tampa maybe didn't ever find its game. We'll get to some comments from Andrei Vasilevsky on that. I'm eager to get your guys' reaction to that. So, welcome to game day. 803-0550. Let's line it up. What do you got? What do you think? How confident are you? And who's the most important player in this round? We got round 1. Most important player might have been, you could make a case it's Alex Lyon after what he did for his 4 games.
Yeah,
you can make a case it's Tuck. You can make a case it's Krebs.
Could.
Krebs had a great series. You could make a case for Doan or Benson or whatever. You've got a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Who will it have to be that is either the best player or gets a different outcome this time around? I feel like Tage will be an interesting answer here, because he didn't find the back of the net after game 1. But I don't think he played poorly.
No, I think he generated a lot of chances.
I saw numbers on exactly that he was one of the top 5 in the league in generating chances, and 5-on-5 play was tremendous. He was great in game 6. And did you watch – sorry, all over the place, really. Did you watch the Quest for the Stanley Cup thing? I posted it yesterday.
I didn't get the chance to sit down and watch that yet.
They're doing a kind of like an embedded, like a Hard Knocks-ish kind of thing, where there's a narrator and it's just video, and they're talking to players and a lot of on-the-bench stuff. And there's some cool things in there that I think Sabres fans would love. So if you check Quest for the Stanley Cup, it's TNT produced, I believe, and it's on YouTube.
It reminded me a lot of the old Road to the Winter Classic series on HBO that
exactly.
I used to love as a kid.
It's a lot like that, and the Sabres series, it's like 12 minutes to watch a recap of the Sabres series. It's a lot on the fans. They talk to Jason Zucker and sit down with him, and they've got a lot of bench audio. You'll get more Lindy coaching in that 12 minutes than you've seen in a long time. So that's cool. One thing I appreciated, and I'll probably remember like 5 or 6 things along the way. But one thing that's in that little 12-minute feature on the series is, I think it must be Game 5. It's Game 5, and the Sabres are struggling to score. They got the goal on the power play, and Tage on the bench, his attitude and his how vocal he is and the things he says, he is NHL Network. Sorry, not TNT. Thank you, NHL Network. His confidence is not a problem.
Yeah.
He's out there saying, get it to me again. It goes in next time. I'm putting the next one in. And he's talking up his teammates and talking how, get it to me again. Next time you find me, that's going in. And then in overtime, Game 5 overtime, he's looking back and forth up and down the bench saying, who's going to be a hero? Who's going to be a hero? I'm going to go get this one. And like, I wonder if some teams might be afraid to talk openly about like who's going to be a hero, and obviously most teams might not. But I saw that in that moment and thought like, all right, he's not the least bit,
timid.
Right. This dude won the gold medal. He scored important goals in the Olympics. It probably, got him ready for big moments, big games, and it might have been the perfect kind of build up to the playoffs for him becoming a guy we're all going to look to. And against Montreal, like, if I put Tage's over-under on goals in the series at 2.5, what would you take? Would you take the over?
Yeah, I think so.
I think I would.
You'd like to.
Yeah.
You'd really
for
like
sure.
to. I mean, he could do it in a game.
Exactly. That's the thing. Is like at any moment, that confidence will reveal itself as to why he's got it. Like it's always in there at any moment. He's so talented and so special that could just blow open a game at any second, and that's part of what I think makes him so exciting and so effective.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But I love hearing that. That's I'm gonna make sure I sit down and watch that later to see that, and I'm interested in the Lindy coaching stuff too. But
it's just Lindy delivering the message from Game 1 to Game 4 to Game 6, and on the bench.
I just think he did such a masterful job of that last series.
Yeah.
Of like controlling the narrative, controlling the sort of atmosphere around the team. I thought his message after Game 2 when they lost was really good. We talked about that. And I thought he pushed all the right buttons. You want to say he should have put Norris in the game or Oslund in the game he was ready. Maybe that's your one gripe. Fine. But I think everything else, the switch to Lyon, all of it, like was perfect from Lindy. So I'm looking to him again here to like, all right, keep it going, because I thought you put on a display last series, and you're going to have an even bigger stage now. You got the Canadians coming to town. Like, let's see it.
Huge stage.
It's gonna be fun.
There's also, regarding Lyon, a really funny moment that I laughed out loud and went back and rewatched a couple times. And that's where they're doing the announcements, like I think it might be, I forget who it is that's announcing who's starting. And is it Game 3? Doesn't matter. Might be Game 6. They say Lyo for Lyon, and the camera swings over to him, and he poses like this. Rah. Like, he gives like a little... It's ridiculous.
He's the best.
I laughed out loud and went back and watched it up 2 or 3 times, and somebody caught it and tweeted it at me, the video, the little screenshot of him making that face. I'm going to tweet that out right now. I'm going to go ahead and retweet that. So anyway, I would highly recommend it. Go ahead and watch that.
For sure.
The Vibe Tonight. Here we go. Vibe Tonight. There you go. I'm sending it out to everybody. Yeah, just it's hilarious. So your picks, we'll take them at 803-0550 and 1-888-550-2550. Here's another pick. You want to pick how many Canadians fans will be in the arena? A funny thing has happened on the way to today.
Yes.
Tickets are cheaper than face value
because
face value is, of course, very high.
Yeah.
You got a very odd scenario that played out. People bought up the extra tickets and couldn't sell them. Now, if you go online and check how many are available, So we've been tracking this the last couple of days, and I've surrendered to knowing or having any idea how many will be there. But at one point, I saw a lot of pearl clutching that there were 3,000 tickets available just on one website. Mm-hmm. You know how many are available on that same website right now? 2,800. Not that many have sold.
Yeah.
And the minimum price to get in tonight has dropped on this one to $223.
Pretty good.
That's it.
Pretty
the
good.
Cheapest ticket on that site, $223, down from $400, $600 3 days ago. Did people buy up these tickets? Now, if you see a ticket for $200 and it's like up in the upper deck or whatever, there's a chance that person is taking a loss.
Oh yeah,
on that sale. If it's a season ticket holder, maybe not. But season ticket holders that went and got the extra tickets paid the full highest price, maybe bought those up thinking I'm going to spin these or whatever, and now they're taking a loss on those. So we might have a strange scenario where we're going from blaming all the people that sell to blaming the Buffalo fans. Why didn't they buy?
Buying?
Why don't you buy? It's only $200.
Right.
I don't know. I don't want to get into all the drama of that, but $223. It's cheaper than the entire last round.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chatter online. Through TikTok, other apps I've seen people posting from Montreal calling it KeyBank Bell Center Light. That's what they're trying to call it. So
they're going to try.
They're going to try.
And if they do, that would be disappointing.
For sure.
No doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
But, send them home unhappy.
Yeah.
Bell Center Light. What do they think? Like 3,000?
I don't know.
Is 3,000 something I would be worried about?
I don't know. Out of 19,000?
Not at all.
I'm not that worried about that.
It's a small fraction. It's not going to do anything.
Sorry. I know. It just doesn't. I could be proven wrong and feel like an idiot for feeling this all week, but I just have never once felt like it's going to be a takeover.
No.
I just don't see it.
3,000 would be a contingent, which I'd be fine with, honestly, for the
great.
vibe in the arena. I feel like
great.
that'd be good. But anything like exponential, I just don't. I don't see it happening.
I don't think it's going to be a 50-50 split in there like people are talking about. It's just not. I don't see it.
No, I don't either. But we might. Well, if we see it, we see it. 803-0550, 1-888-550-2550 to join us. Sabres and Canadiens in round one to get started at KeyBank Center at 7 o'clock tonight. Remember, take deep breaths. We only have 13 hours until we get there. 13 hours.
Here we go.
And we're all picking 7 games.
7.
Which
that means they have to lose 3 times.
That's right. That's right. You can't win
Remember.
you can't win a 7th game unless you lose 3. Yeah. True of every team that's ever won a 7th game. Nobody ever says that. Like, look how clutch they are. They won Game 7. They lost 3 times in the series.
Right.
It happens.
It
I got a Twitter poll up about this. If you want to jump in, what's your pick? The short series, the long series, and early on, the results are heavily skewed to Sabres in 6 or 7.
Yeah.
80% of the vote going Sabres in 6 or 7, or Montreal in 6 or 7. So I think you get a 90% if you include that one. So I think you get a couple of fan bases that are, well, at least this one, on following me on Twitter, are expecting a close series, expecting a. Then again, you could have Carolina Ottawa was a close series,
but it was
a sweep.
Yeah, right.
Like
that can happen.
Yes,
that'd be awesome because Carolina is probably going to take care of business pretty quick on Philly,
and then
you
rest
don't
for
want
2
them,
weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Especially that team. I talk about them getting tired as the playoffs go. You give them a week off in between round 2 and 3, and you might be in some trouble.
We'll have to hope the Sabres don't have any rust here, right? The Sabres, they last played on Friday.
I think
that's
this is
a long time off.
I think this is pretty perfect, though, where it's not a week and you're kind of waiting for it to come and come and come. But I think this is pretty much where you want to be. You get back home Friday night late. You take Saturday off completely. Just recover. Sunday, some light stuff. Monday, Tuesday, ramp up. And then today, here you are. I think it's as good as you could do schedule-wise, personally.
Well, from here on out, it's every other day. They'll either be playing a game or they'll be recovering, and we will be talking about a game. Darren Dreger reports that Alex Tuch is likely to resign. That was the latest from Darren Drager. Saw that on Twitter yesterday. Lindy Ruff, of course, with us yesterday, said Sam Carrick would be back at practice. He was back at practice and is considered day-to-day.
Yep.
I don't know if he's going to jump in as quickly as tonight.
Could. It
I
sounds
don't-
like it's possible,
Yeah, I don't
more
wanna-
likely for Friday.
Yeah, I don't want to rule it out that he
Yeah.
could get in there tonight.
No.
And then, of course, the international controversy. We're running through every story we got right now in the first segment as we get things like this, the table set. The Niagara Parks, they announced that the Niagara Falls would be lit red, white, and blue on the Horseshoe Falls and blue and gold on the American side,
Yep.
which I view as an act of treason.
Wow. What's your reason?
Niagara Falls is ours. No more showing Niagara Falls during Bills games.
Right.
None of that. No more giving them free advertising during Niagara Falls is associated here. And they're lighting up red, white, and blue for the Canadians on the one side. I don't care that it's Canada on that side. We are supposed to be friends. And they did that.
They split it.
Not
They
okay.
did.
Not okay.
Fractured the falls.
They did
right.
have both of them blue and gold after they won.
Exactly my point.
Yeah.
All of a sudden the Canadian side wants to pick its teams? Like,
Right.
No.
All right.
If it's going to be Sabres Hurricanes next round, they're not lighting it up red and black and white. You can write a black light off.
That would glow. It'd be pretty interesting if you tried a black light there.
That'd be something.
Anyway, get ready for everything to take over onto another level.
Yeah.
Round 2. You think your life was taken over now? Wait until the next stage.
Yeah.
I know.
Just like preparing.
I
feel like
know.
physically, like.
Ron
tensing up.
McLean's on the station later today, right? He's
Oh man,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Ed Shannon on yesterday too.
Yeah.
John Shannon, great
when
segment with him.
it's funny when Mike texted me he was having John Shannon on, I immediately got mad because I know we have John Shannon's number, and we used to have John Shannon on because the Sabres were somewhat routinely good when Howard worked here, a million years ago,
Right.
at least at the beginning. And we used to have John Shannon on all the time.
Yeah.
Just text him like, "Oh yeah, hey boys, come on." And
He's great.
I just forgot that's a name I could have gone to in the Rolodex to get John Shannon, and the afternoon guys got him. So
Well, we got a packed up show today.
we
I
do.
think we'll
We
be
do.
all right.
We do. Eric
gonna
Engels,
be
Liam McHugh, and on we go. I also texted Marty. I shamelessly texted Marty Baron to try and get like Henrik Lundqvist's number.
Yes.
And
Yes.
he goes, "You got to go through PR." Like, all right.
I can't do that one.
So I did. I sent the request out to TNT to try and see who we can get through TNT. Liam McHugh, I do have his number, and I did not go through PR. Not that anybody cares about the PR wranglings of it, but whatever.
They give you Bizinet. You taking them?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Take this.
Absolutely. Is he back in now that Toronto won the draft lottery?
No.
Those Leafs
No, he
fans?
tweeted
He tweeted
yesterday.
out that he's done. They're dead to him.
Absolutely
So that was
not.
it.
They're dead to him, and then you win the lottery and get Gavin McKenna.
Crazy.
As soon
That's crazy.
as he releases the Talons, they win the lottery.
I would say, like, on that draft lottery, watching it live, they did the thing that we said during the McDavid lottery. Like, they should do it this way. It'd be way more dramatic, and they decided to do it that way.
Yeah, it was cool.
If anybody wants to tell me it was fixed, how? It's not behind closed doors anymore.
Right.
Then just have 12 people in a room and come out and tell you who won. How'd they fix it? How? Right there. Live probabilities.
That's all you need.
Yeah, if they fixed it, it's because they pre-recorded it. I mean,
Right.
I'm sorry, I don't think so.
I don't know.
The strange thing about it, because every one of these draft lotteries always has to have something strange, whether it was like back in the day, the old Florida Panthers owner's son was kind of goofy looking.
Yeah.
This time it was Gary Bettman telling Tom, start the clock,
Yes.
which I don't know
I
why.
don't want to get yelled at by Gary.
I don't know
like
why that had to happen 4 times.
Yeah.
Tom, start the clock.
Yeah, it's not.
If you didn't watch it, that reference doesn't hit you. It's okay.
No, it's
okay.
but it's pretty funny.
803-0550 is our phone number. All right, it's game day. Sabres and Canadiens. We'll talk a little trash. We'll have a little fun. We'll get ready for round 2. It starts tonight at KeyBank Center, and can't wait. Can't wait.
There we go.
Be nice to get on the board early. Be nice to get a 1-0 lead. I'll be at game 2. Owen, you'll be there tonight.
Yep.
Joe, you going to any games this series? You got a plan yet?
I'm going to go to a watch party. I think Friday I might try and get to the party in the Plaza, maybe experience it once or twice,
Yeah.
But if tickets are going for $200, I might try and get into a game, honestly.
Who knows if the prices go up as the series goes on or how it works out. But
Yeah.
hopefully not too much of a sea of red. So we'll talk about it with you. We'll get you ready. 803-0550. Paul Hamilton at 8. Liam McHugh at 9:15. Eric Engels at 9:30 of Sportsnet Montreal. Sabres and Canadiens kick things off and we'll find out who makes it to the next round over the next 2 weeks. Jeremy and Joe. Joe's out again. And when we get back, I have my next What Would You Do for a Win from the makers of Would You Ride with Your Driver's Side Window Down for the Rest of Your Life? Which, by the way, did you think about that driving to work today? Think about that? Not fun. Would you do that, and would you put a fitted sheet on your bed every single night for a championship? I have a new one that we'll get to at some point today. You know, just trying to fill my brain as we're all stressed out about these playoffs. 803-0550 to get started with us here on WGR.
We've made it. Game 1 of round 2. Sabres Canadiens at KeyBank Center. Sam Carrick was back at practice yesterday. He's day-to-day. And for more, you can visit Paul Hamilton's pieces on our website, WGR550.com. Listen to WGR's Hometown Call with Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray as you watch the Sabres versus Habs playoff games. Here's all you need to do. Download and open WGR on the free Odyssey app. Pause the Sabres and Habs game on your smart TV or DVR at Faceoff. When you hear Dan and Rob with the Faceoff on the app, hit play on your TV. Puck drop is set for 7 o'clock tonight. Scores from the playoffs, only one game last night. Colorado beat the Wild 5-2. They lead the series 2-0. Looking around the NFL, the Giants, they've agreed to terms with defensive lineman DJ Reader on a 2-year, $12.5 million deal. Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst said he expects edge rusher Micah Parsons and tight end Tucker Kraft back early in the season. Free agent wide receiver Stephon Diggs was found not guilty of assault yesterday, and ESPN's Adam Schefter reports that the criminal charges against L'Jarius Sneed have been dismissed. Catch every take, every reaction, every big Buffalo sports moment live now on YouTube with Jeremy and Joe in the morning and Shope and the Bulldog every afternoon. Watch your favorite WGR hosts anytime, anywhere, live on air, live on YouTube. Brought to you by Belknap Heating and Cooling. For more comfort and less ka-ching, give Belknap a ring. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fans, WGR.
So I think there's the pest that's real annoying. There's a pest that's really hard to play against, and I think he's a real hard player to play against. He plays the game the right way. He has the puck a lot. He can score. I mentioned yesterday that he's annoying because he gets to the net all the time. He gets to the puck. He's the first touch. If he's not first touch, he's all over you to try to get it back. And then he's got kind of that smirk on his face that irritates you too, I guess, as an opposition player. It makes me smile, but I think it annoys other people.
Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff on Zach Benson. Hey, notice a rattle in your ducts or a rise in your heating and cooling bills? If you do, give Belknap a ring with 0% financing. The cost of upgrading to a high-efficiency dual-fuel heating system is a breeze. Learn more at belknapheating.com. That's belknapheating.com. Go green, save energy and money with Belknap. Schedule a free estimate on your new installation. Give Belknap a ring at 688-1728 for more comfort and less ka-ching. Give Belknap a ring. Of course, our live YouTube stream brought to you by Belknap Heating and Cooling. For more comfort and less ka-ching, give Belknap a ring. Jeremy and Joe. Joe's off this week again. It's all right. If they keep winning, people are going to tell him he can't come back. If they win this series, he's due back in 2 weeks. He's due back for the Carolina series. That might start if it's going to be Carolina. And if they like down 0-2, be like, Joe, go home. Go away.
He's banished.
You got to go.
Sorry, dude.
Listen, we love you, but leave. They were crushing it when you were gone. Big things happen when someone's on vacation. Winning the Stanley Cup feels like that would go to the top of the list.
That feels
It'd be bigger than most of the other things that have happened. So
yeah, rise above, probably.
I mean, even winning 2 playoff rounds is pretty darn big.
That is huge.
Well, especially in the vacuum that we're in. It's crazy.
Yeah. 803-0550 is our phone number, and 1-888-550-2550. The Leafs win the draft lottery, and I like many of you, as someone that the draft lottery used to be my favorite team, and not anymore. Not anymore. They traded away my favorite team.
Yes.
Didn't have to watch the draft lottery for the first time in 14 years. I mean, listen, we were in on every lottery. It wasn't even if they were 8th. Like the Sabres would have certainly over the years have had the odds that the Leafs just had last night. They went in with 8%, 8 or 9%, and ball by ball go up and they win. All right. They win the draft lottery. One day after being scorched by everybody in the NHL about their GM hire, they win the lottery. And they'll likely take Gavin McKenna. However, there's now a defenseman that could be in the mix.
Yeah, there's there's a center and a defenseman and a winger, really. There's three,
so we've gone from Gavin McKenna's draft to no consensus number 1.
Yeah,
because
much.
McKenna has not been like a freak show at Penn State the way that a lot of kids are.
Yeah.
And if they're going to go number one.
Yeah. So, Gavin McKenna's the one guy, and then there's another kid, Ivar Stenberg, who's a Swedish winger. And then there's another defenseman, Chase Reed. There's a lot of guys, really. Carson Corrells is another guy that's really talented at the top of the draft.
Yeah. Like McKenna, 51 points at Penn State, 15 goals in 35 games. Like, good numbers, great college player. But when you see, first off, it's kind of new to see a player that's going to go at the top of the draft be in college. It doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Jack
was in college, and he had 71 points as a freshman at BU, right?
BU, yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure it was 71 points.
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
The Hobie Baker.
Yeah. And McKenna had 51 points, so, still good.
Yes.
And he is a wizard of a stick handler, maybe one of the best I've ever seen at that.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
It's unbelievable, the things he can do like that. My first thought when I saw the Leafs won the draft lottery was this makes it easier for them to trade Austin Matthews and start a full rebuild.
Yeah,
If that's what they wanted. Hey, we have a star to market around, and people can buy into the future. And if Matthews is going to leave anyway, get a king's ransom for Matthews, who's going to go to Utah, and you're off and running with a new rebuild that's kickstarted by a number 1 pick.
And a trade package for the best goal scorer in the league.
Yeah.
So, I think it helps either way they go. Like, if they decide, if Matthews, I think it's really up to him. If Matthews decides, I'll stick it out, then you've got a stud to play with in McKenna. Or if you want, like, I'm probably done here. I know they're getting a number 1 overall pick, and they're going to get everything they could ever ask for me. So I'm putting them in a good spot. So I'm not going to feel bad, like, jettisoning myself out of here, and, like, they're going to be fine. Because I think if they had, picked 6th or whatever and lost their pick,
that's a big difference.
I think they're in a very different position this morning, because they now are at, okay, we've got the number 1 pick, we've got Matthews, we've got Nylander. What can we really do here? Like, could we be good next year for real? Like, that is a question. They think yes. I think they thought yes before they won the lottery yesterday. Now it becomes a little more plausible, I think. But it's a big night for them up north.
There's also last night was also a very bad night for the Bruins.
Yes.
Because the Bruins were going to get their pick if it was not in the top 5.
Right.
And instead it goes to number 1. And now the Bruins, there's a scenario where the pick that they get from Toronto, which, again, if it was 6th overall, they would have gotten that pick. Instead, it might go to 2028.
Yeah.
Unprotected, but
Sure.
2028.
That's a long time to wait for your return on a deal, because
Yeah.
that's for the pick, and then you've got another 2 years to see if that guy even ever makes the league. So they're not going to see that return on asset that's from the Brandon Carlo trade. They're not going to get a return on that asset until 2030.
Yeah,
which is tough when the trade was made last year in 2025.
803-0550, our phone number. Give us a ring. Who will be the most important player in this series for the Buffalo Sabres, and what's your pick on, games? I get the feeling like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to pick against them.
No.
It's kind of how I feel like when we get to the Bills playoffs, the Bills they always have their warts, whether it's defense or, this or that or an injury. I don't like picking against Josh Allen, and I usually don't in the playoffs and late in the season. With these Sabres, I don't exactly have that same, I don't bet against blank. Like, I don't bet against Alex Lyon. But they've been a good team all year. I can remember the Montreal games, and that was a race throughout the season, and they caught and passed Montreal.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Montreal was above them before this run started. They caught them and passed them, and, of course, passed Tampa. And I remember watching the Montreal games thinking, all right, I'm good with this matchup. I know they split 2-2, but I remember just feeling like I think they'd beat this team if they met them in the playoffs. So, I feel reasonably good about it, but we'll see. Like, you're going to need saves. You're going to need big-time players to be big-time players, and you're probably going to need your power play to be good again.
I think
or
you're
just
going
like
to need the
middle of the road.
Right. You're going to need them to be middle of the road and keep your penalty kill solid. You want to have the goal is always to be combined 100% between power play and penalty.
It's your magic number.
It's your magic number most of the time to be like, okay, this is good. We're good on special teams. So if you get to, that could be 10% on the power play, but if you're 90 on the kill, you can live with it. But it's going to be hard because you're never going to be 100% on the kill, and they're at what are they at now? 7% on the power play in the playoffs, something like that.
It's pretty rough.
So
don't forget the one that we were supposed to think of like a power play goal.
Very true.
And then that would boost them a little bit.
That would help.
803-0550 and 1-888-552-550. Last night, the Colorado Avalanche won again, which they dominate.
Yeah, they're a buzzsaw. That Minnesota team is legit, and they just worked them over last night.
Yeah,
McKinnon is a
monster,
just a bulldozer in every sense of it. Offensive bulldozer, a physical bulldozer. He's unbelievable.
I thought Montreal had a good I thought Minnesota had a good look in this series, but they're down 0-2 going home.
I did too. I thought they would have a shot at it, and
2 games in, they're getting roasted.
Colorado's just
buzzsaw.
Oh.
They look like a buzzsaw.
Yeah.
No?
I don't even want to think about whatever.
I'll take it.
I mean,
we'll worry about it then. We'll worry about it then.
I worry about what they may look like.
Hey, the Sabres can skate with a lot of teams.
That's true.
That's the thing. If you want to skate, the Sabres can skate.
They sure can. They sure can skate.
And by then, maybe Ostland's
yeah.
back. Maybe you're losing somebody else. Who knows?
Right.
A lot of guys get hurt through the process.
Somebody has become a legend to that point, though. I mean, somebody has. If they get there, who is the guy that we're like, whoa, remember this guy about this year? Because I feel like they'll need something like that from somebody.
Sam Carrick might be at legend status right now.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to get him back.
For sure.
But what are we talking about? The biggest impact he would make? Is it face-offs? It might be.
Face-offs.
He scored a bunch. I don't know how much we're supposed to expect that, but it's whatever. If the coach thinks he's the best part of the lineup, then I'm happy that the coach is that he's closer to being back.
Same.
Which Carrick is close. Maybe day to day. Maybe tonight. Yeah. Sabres and Canadiens tonight at 7:00 at KeyBank Center. It'll be wet throughout the day. It's supposed to stop raining, but a damp evening, not that windy. So if you're headed somewhere where you're outdoors, it'll be 40s, overcast, damp, not windy, 5-10 miles per hour. So that should help. Dress accordingly, plan accordingly. Eager to see the drum banger tonight. We will find out. Oh. They need to start announcing it during this show.
Yes.
No other entity in town has gone deeply in on investing in who the drum banger is than this show.
No, we are the people to do it.
We helped make it a bigger spectacle. So no more. Come on, Sabres. Don't announce this at noon. Announce it at 9:30.
That'd be cool.
Give us the reaction time, right? Give us the chance to strut for whoever got the victory.
I mean, do you see what's happening potentially for Game 6? I think we might have.
I did not. Oh, the watch party?
The watch party in the arena.
Watch party in the arena. Which is fine. I do subscribe to the theory of it's nice for them to have that, but it's also nice for all of the local bars to fill up.
Sure, yeah.
And if you steal 18,000 people to sell out a watch party, those are people that are, they're going to charge $5 a head too.
Right.
And instead of spending money at bars, you're spending money for them. And I think they're doing all right. These playoff tickets. I think
they certainly are.
I think they're doing okay.
And if they keep going, it's only going to get better for them. So.
Yeah. I cannot believe. I can believe it, but I also cannot believe how expensive tickets are with each and every round.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I cannot believe it.
And they're not even.
It's not even out of range of what tickets are supposed to be in a playoff series for the NHL. It's kind of incredible to find out that 2 friends bought tickets for $800. I'm like, for Game 1 of the second round?
Yeah.
But, hey, I get it. 803-0550, 1-888-552-550. The drum banger to be revealed later. I'm excited. I'm going to take a look at my roster, who I think of my roster is the most likely to be out there today. I've got Jim Kelly. Right? We've got Thomas Vanek, Derek Plant, and Deion Dawkins, and I'm missing one more in here that I have. Ryan Miller. Ooh, I like that one.
I do too.
I like
That's
that.
a very
I
good
like
one.
that. I like that. 803-0550. If anybody sees Wolf Blitzer at the airport, let us know.
Please,
Joe's
tweet
got
at us.
Wolf Blitzer.
Let us know.
They also did a Chad Michael Murray mic'd up at the game.
Yes, they did. It's only getting closer.
Chad Michael Murray's doing everything except bang the drum.
Right.
And now I am starting to think that they're slowly stretching out our exposure to Chad Michael Murray so that if someone can't get in for a drum banging,
He can fill in.
he's getting the call.
Yeah.
I actually think that's a good dynasty pick to hold on to right now.
He's inevitable.
Chad Michael Murray.
Maybe.
803-0550. Sabres and Canadiens tonight here on WGR. Jeremy White here for Riverfront Auto. Who's the most important player in this round? We got round one. Most important player might have been, I mean, you could make a case it's Alex Lyon after what he did for his 4 games.
Yeah,
You
Tuck.
can make a case it's Tuck. You can make a case it's Krebs.
Could.
I mean, Krebs had a great series. You could make a case for Doan or Benson or whatever. You've got a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Who will it have to be that is either the best player or gets a different outcome this time around? I feel like Tage will be an interesting answer here because he didn't find the back of the net after game 1. But I don't think he played poorly.
No, I think he generated a lot of chances.
I saw numbers on exactly that he was one of the top 5 in the league in generating chances, and 5-on-5 play was tremendous. He was great in game 6. And did you watch – sorry, all over the place, really. Did you watch the Quest for the Stanley Cup thing? I posted it yesterday.
I didn't get the chance to sit down and watch that yet.
They're doing a kind of like an embedded, like a Hard Knocks-ish kind of thing where there's a narrator and it's just video, and they're talking to players and a lot of on-the-bench stuff. And there's some cool things in there that I think Sabres fans would love. So if you check Quest for the Stanley Cup, it's TNT produced, I believe, and it's on YouTube.
It reminded me a lot of the old Road to the Winter Classic series on HBO that
exactly.
I used to love as a kid.
It's a lot like that, and the Sabres series, it's like 12 minutes to watch a recap of the Sabres series. It's a lot on the fans. They talk to Jason Zucker and sit down with him, and they've got a lot of bench audio. Like you'll get more Lindy coaching in that 12 minutes than you've seen in a long time. So that's cool. One thing I appreciated, and I'll probably remember like 5 or 6 things along the way. But one thing that's in that little 12-minute feature on the series is, I think it must be Game 5. It's Game 5, and the Sabres are struggling to score. They got the goal on the power play, and Tage on the bench, his attitude and his how vocal he is and the things he says, he is NHL Network. Sorry, not TNT. Thank you, NHL Network. His confidence is not a problem.
Yeah.
He's out there saying, get it to me again. It goes in next time. I'm putting the next one in. And he's talking up his teammates and talking how, get it to me again. Next time you find me, that's going in. And then in overtime, Game 5 overtime, he's looking back and forth up and down the bench saying, who's going to be a hero? Who's going to be a hero? I'm going to go get this one. And like, you know, I wonder if some teams might be afraid to talk openly about like who's going to be a hero, and obviously most teams might not. But I saw that in that moment and thought like, all right, he's not the least bit, you know,
timid.
Right. This dude won the gold medal. He scored important goals in the Olympics. It probably, you know, got him ready for big moments, big games. Game 1 tonight. Can I make a waiver wire move in our drum banger draft? I think I want to make a move. I want to make a move here. Series specific. All right?
Boy.
You going to entertain this?
I'll entertain a waiver wire
We'll
action.
hear it out.
All right. I've got, again, Ryan Miller, Jim Kelly, Thomas Vanek, Derek Plant, and Deion Dawkins. I'm going to drop Deion Dawkins.
Okay.
The chat pointed out that he is also in a walking boot, so maybe that'd be,
Yeah.
you know, he could still walk there, but he might be the game, but no, not going to bang the drum. I'm picking up Marty.
Oh, that's a good one. I
Right?
like that.
Yeah.
Marty. I watched Marty do a full interview in French yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Full. Here he is, like, in
He's
Montreal.
on TV up there.
I know. I've never seen these clips of him doing Canadian or French-Canadian television.
Wow.
There he is. The full thing is in French, and I had the thought, you know, it's kind of like when the Bills played the Broncos kind of got on the idea that Haley Stanfield, she used to be a Broncos fan, right? So Josh's wife used to be a Bronco fan. And I thought, like, that's kind of weird, but sure, go for it. And if the Sabres want to lean into that, like, hey, we got a guy from Montreal.
Right.
He's on our team now. Let's have Marty bang the drum, right?
Yeah.
Everybody likes
sense.
Marty.
Oh, everybody loves
I
Marty.
think he could play it up a bit. So I'm getting Marty on my roster for this series.
I like that.
Somebody has Rob, right? Don't you have Rob Ray in our drum banger draft? Somebody has Rob. Or somebody.
I had Rob. I
you
dropped
him. That's right.
I dropped him for Danny Gare.
Okay.
I don't think he'd be upset at me about that. I hope he wouldn't.
Could I hear back my roster one time here?
All
if
right.
that's
You
okay?
have Wolf Blitzer, of course.
Yes.
You have Rasmus Dahlin's fiance.
Okay.
You have Alex Tuck, Chad Michael Murray, and T.J. Parker,
Okay.
the Bills' first-round pick.
I don't mind TJ Parker.
The Bills rookies will probably be at a game this week. It's rookie camp.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if Friday there's a, hey, welcome to the 2026 class of the Buffalo Bills.
Can I drop Wolf and pick up Rom since he's out on waivers right
John Rahm?
now? Not Ron. Rob Ray.
Oh, Rob Ray. You said Rahm. I'm like,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Misspoke.
I mean, listen,
I was thinking about him because he's back on the other tour
I feel like
now.
for the brand, it's way better for you to have Wolf Blitzer on your team.
Yeah, you're right.
But or even John Rahm for that matter.
Rahm.
Like, you want to go to Rob Ray here?
I'll sit on it. I'll think about it for a little bit. We'll see. Owen might. You can jump back on him if you want, but I'm gonna sit on it.
I'm all right. I like my team.
Okay.
I just want the power to veto Joe Kelly's waiver moves because I don't want you to get rid of the bad picks.
Okay.
Or
is fun.
the fun picks. Like Wolf Blitzer's like a 10-pointer. If Wolf Blitzer showed up to bang the drum, you get mega points for that
Okay.
one.
We'll keep Wolf on the roster. We'll keep
Yeah.
him there.
I'm just going to bully you into it. 803-0550, 1-888-550. The chat's wondering where's Pekka? Could Pekka be on anybody's roster? It's a good one.
That is.
Danny Gare, you got him. He's on your roster.
I got Danny.
Yeah.
Craig Rivet.
Barnaby,
I was just about to say that.
Rivet. Ooh, Rivet played for
Rivet
Montreal.
Played for Montreal.
You never know.
Your Marty pick.
You never know. 803-0550, 1-888-552-550. Joe Marino of the Locked On Bills podcast. We'll check in with him. We'll do a little bit of Bills, housekeeping. They're going to get to rookie camp this week, watching the free agent market, seeing if anybody lands, and the former Bills and where they stand, which a lot of them stand on the open market still. So we'll do some Bills and then swing back into hockey. You can join us throughout 803-0550 on WGR. Who's the most important player in this round? We got round one. Most important player might have been, you could make a case it's Alex Lyon after what he did for his 4 games.
Yeah,
You
Tuck.
can make a case it's Tuck. You can make a case it's Krebs.
Could.
Krebs had a great series. You could make a case for Doan or Benson or whatever. You've got a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Who will it have to be that is either the best player or gets a different outcome this time around? I feel like Tage will be an interesting answer here because he didn't find the back of the net after game 1. But I don't think he played poorly.
No, I think he generated a lot of chances.
I saw numbers on exactly that he was one of the top 5 in the league in generating chances, and 5-on-5 play was tremendous. He was great in game 6. And did you watch – sorry, all over the place, really. Did you watch the Quest for the Stanley Cup thing? I posted it yesterday.
I didn't get the chance to sit down and watch that yet.
They're doing a kind of like an embedded, like a Hard Knocks-ish kind of thing where there's a narrator and it's just video, and they're talking to players and a lot of on-the-bench stuff. And there's some cool things in there that I think Sabres fans would love. So if you check Quest for the Stanley Cup, it's TNT produced, I believe, and it's on YouTube.
It reminded me a lot of the old Road to the Winter Classic series on HBO that
exactly.
I used to love as a kid.
It's a lot like that, and the Sabres series, it's like 12 minutes to watch a recap of the Sabres series. It's a lot on the fans. They talk to Jason Zucker and sit down with him, and they've got a lot of bench audio. You'll get more Lindy coaching in that 12 minutes than you've seen in a long time. So that's cool. One thing I appreciated, and I'll probably remember like 5 or 6 things along the way. But one thing that's in that little 12-minute feature on the series is, I think it must be Game 5. It's Game 5, and the Sabres are struggling to score. They got the goal on the power play, and Tage on the bench, his attitude and his how vocal he is and the things he says, he is NHL Network. Sorry, not TNT. Thank you, NHL Network. His confidence is not a problem.
Yeah.
He's out there saying, get it to me again. It goes in next time. I'm putting the next one in. And he's talking up his teammates and talking how, get it to me again. Next time you find me, that's going in. And then in overtime, Game 5 overtime, he's looking back and forth up and down the bench saying, who's going to be a hero? Who's going to be a hero? I'm going to go get this one. And like, I wonder if some teams might be afraid to talk openly about like who's going to be a hero, and obviously most teams might not. But I saw that in that moment and thought like, all right, he's not the least bit,
timid.
Right. This dude won the gold medal. He scored important goals in the Olympics. It probably, got him ready for big moments, big games.
We've made it. Game 1 of round 2. Sabres Canadiens at KeyBank Center. Sam Carrick was back at practice yesterday. He's day to day. For more, you can visit Paul Hamilton's pieces on our website, WGR550.com. You can listen to WGR's Hometown Call with Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray as you watch the Sabres and Habs playoff games. Here's all you need to do. Download and open WGR on the free Odyssey app. Pause the Sabres versus Habs game on your smart TV or DVR at Face-Off. When you hear Dan and Rob with the Face-Off on the app, hit play on your TV. Puck drop is set for 7 o'clock tonight. Scores from the playoffs, only one game last night. Colorado beat the Wild 5-2. They lead the series 2-0. And around the NFL, the Giants, they agreed to terms with defensive lineman DJ Reader on a 2-year, $12.5 million contract. Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst said he expects edge rusher Micah Parsons and tight end Tucker Kraft to be back early in the season. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the criminal charges against L'Jarius Sneed have been dismissed, and free agent wide receiver Stephon Diggs was found not guilty of assault yesterday. Round 2 playoff posters are ready for you. Stop by any Paula's Donuts location and grab the We Love River Hockey poster while supplies last. Hang it with pride at home, work, or take it with you to the game or watch party. Paula's Donuts, made with love on Sheridan and Tonawanda, in the Premier Plaza in Williamsville, Southgate Plaza in West Seneca, and Seneca Street in Larkinville. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fans, WGR.
It means a lot to me. I'm a people person. The people make the place. And I'm coming from a organization in Clemson, whereas everything was about family, about people. And I'm just so glad that Bills Mafia is the same way. I come in here and, I want to introduce myself to everybody here because if we all going to work together, I want it to be a great environment where we can be ourselves. That's just how I roll, and that's just what I do, and that's what I stand for. So.
Bills rookie T.J. Parker, or the Bills rookies, will maybe get an introduction to playoff hockey, right? Usually they're just driving around town looking at stuff. Like, hey, there's Buffalo in May. You look around and go to the falls and go see this and go see that. And maybe this time around they're going to go to a hockey game. You never know. So rookie minicamp gets started, I believe, this week, and we'll see if they make a trip. Jeremy and Joe, Sneaky Joe, he's out this week again. Game 1 tonight, Sabres and Montreal. We're getting ready for it. Another series starting at home, and Game 1 between these two is tonight. We get another drum banger. We're very excited to bring you that news as soon as we find out who it is because it sets the vibe for the whole day. I do wonder if they'll give Josh Allen another crack at it, or if people will think, and if Josh will think he's jinxed, and also like he might have stuff going on. He's like a busy guy. Joining us in the Western Hotline is one of the most hardcore Buffalo Sabres fans we all know, Mr. Joe Marino, the Locked On Bills podcast. You clear the schedule tonight, Joe? You ready for Game 1?
I am ready for Game 1, rooting for not overtime. That 18-minute break before the overtime, when you're starting to get into later in the 10 o'clock hour, is tough for us East Coast dads,
Yes, it is tough. Our J.J. Zachariason of what's his site? His site is Late Round Quarterback, lateroundquarterback.com, a fantasy football, who coined the phrase East Coast dads with football going late, Monday night games. The overtime is the unique challenge for anybody because it's, go grab a drink, something to eat, go to the bathroom, try not to channel surf, try not to close your eyes, and, you end up waking up as the game ends. So if we do get overtime tonight, we'll do the best we can. But
I'll stand up. That's what I'm going to make. I'll make a commitment. I'll stand up and walk around. I tried. It was the Hurricanes the other night. They went to overtime against the Flyers, and I said I'm going to wake up and find out what happens here. I can't do it. Well, but Sabres will battle.
You and I talked about this earlier in the week about how you're down there in Hurricane country to a degree. Like they're the number 1 seed in the East. There's of course history with the Sabres. If the Sabres would win this round, they would play probably Carolina, and I'll just have you, rattle off how much Carolina stuff you see year in, year out this time of year, because I do think Sabres fans would enjoy hearing what you have to say about it.
Well, I live just outside of Charlotte in Concord, and so we're not quite Raleigh. Raleigh's about 2.5 hours away from me. But it's funny. I said to you earlier in the week that I could count on one hand, maybe two, the amount of Carolina Hurricanes gear I see, whether that's somebody wearing a shirt, a bumper sticker, a flag. You just don't see it. It's a non-topic here in the Charlotte area, which is funny because I said that, and don't you know that my daughter's kindergarten teacher is a massive Hurricanes fan, and I heard about it. It got back to me. It was like, okay, no
There's
Hurricanes fans here. My daughter's kindergarten teacher, who I'm going to see today, it's like a field trip day where they're doing like a day in the park for the class as they get towards the end of the school year. And so I'll get to see Miss Powell this morning, and I guess we'll talk a little hockey.
All right. Well, make sure, chirp about the Canes, although they look pretty good. Joe,
they look pretty good.
Yeah, they do. Joe, we're going to talk a little Bills here. As we're all just kind of waiting for this game to start and filling time, keeping my brain busy so I don't pace nonstop. You and I also had a conversation earlier this week. I want to bring this to our airwaves about the Davison-Igbinosun pick for the Bills in the second round and whether or not we should take the Bills at their word that it's all about depth, or we should dip our toe in the conspiracy theory waters that this might be a message about the roster otherwise, that maybe there's not any trust in one of their other boundary corners. So where do you ultimately land on this pick as you've sat with it a little bit more?
Yeah, Jeremy, I find myself understanding of the messaging that's come through. I mean, we've all watched the Bills. We've all seen Dane Jackson get roasted in a critical moment in a playoff game by Marvin Mims. We saw, Darnell Savage forced into the lineup. They threw a touchdown against him. The Denver Broncos did. We saw Kyrie Elam get cooked, having to fill in a depth role against Kansas City. Like, corner depth has absolutely been a problem. And it was definitely something on my mind for this draft. And I always kind of struggled with, all right, when's the right time to pick a corner? It's an important depth area to fill, but you can't do it too high. And then not only does Brandon Beane do it on day 2, but he trades into the second round to get Davison Igbinosun. And it's a fine pick. I mean, that's the range that I think he was expected to go. But when you look at this roster and you see that Christian Benford is entering year 1 of his contract extension, and Maxwell Harrison was a first-round pick last year, and now you've traded into the second round to get IGB. You love the depth. You love the mix of skill sets. All of that is great. But you don't trade into the second round for a backup. When you do that, you're thinking a starter. And so where I have a challenge with my own processing of this move is, what is the path forward for all of Benford, Hairston, and IGB to be successful investments by this front office? Because if we're being honest, if everything goes well with Hairston and Benford, IGB really shouldn't play. And, of course, you love to have him. If you need him, you'll love to have him. But that's a pretty high pick for a guy that, like I said, if everything goes well with the guys you already invested in, well, he doesn't play. And, you could talk about matchups and different skill sets, and I'll believe it when I see it that they're going to rotate the corners. I mean, you could talk yourself into so many things. Is one of them going to play slot? Is there a path for one of them to go to safety? It's complicated. Right now they're telling us it's depth, but I would question resource allocation for depth trading into the second round.
And as the league changes and as this defense changes, people will obviously ask the question, like, can this corner go to slot, whether that's Igbinosun or Hairston? And one key thing that's important is to note that the corner position in this defense is not, the slot corner position is not the same in this defense as it was in a McDermott defense.
100%. And when Brandon Beane, he was talking about the D. Alford signing, and he said, we're not going to ask the slot corner to defend the B gap in the run game. The light bulb went off for me where I was like, okay, this is a truly different role. They are going to ask that to be a coverage player and less involved with the run fit. You still got to tackle. You got to be a run support player, but it's no longer going to be a primary function of that position. And I don't know, Jeremy, you look at this list of DBs that they've brought in. It's a pretty extensive list. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Davison Igbinosun, they paid D. Alford, Jalen Kilgore, a draft pick. There's definitely something they're looking for in these DBs. They want feisty dudes that have speed and ball skills. All of those players, like that, you would maybe say for all 3 of them, or all, I don't know, maybe I named 4 or 5 players. All of them, those would be their top 3 attributes. They're definitely looking for something here. And I think it goes with what the style of defense is going to be. They're going to be aggressive with their pressure looks, and they need speed and ball skills and aggressiveness on the back end to feast on, hurried throws. And so you can kind of see the vision coming together, but that doesn't mean it's not complicated to piece all these DBs together and figure out, what the real plan is.
Yeah, as they piece the whole thing together, Joe, like we waited to see what they would do with their defensive build, and we did not get the big nose tackle. I saw also DJ Reader officially signed his new deal, so if you were hoping for that, that's not going to happen. And I don't know who it might be that they would get at that spot. We kind of have morphed into thinking they're not going to take somebody like that. So that's like the context. The question is this. If you were to just kind of predict today, is this defense better against the pass or better against the run ranked in the league?
Oh, I would certainly think better against the pass. I think, obviously we're not going to see this front be a 2-gapping 3-4. I think every personnel move that they've made and not made tell us loud and clear this is not going to be a 2-gapping 3-4. It's going to be a movement-based front that's going to, slant and twist and stunt the front and change gaps and try to create confusion and create negative plays, but obviously there's a susceptibility to that in terms of, maybe getting creased a little if guys are out of their gaps because they're, trying to fight to get to a different gap. So there's, risk reward, but I think that's the nature of this defense. They're going to play press man coverage with aggressive pressure looks in front of it. They're going to be movement based against the run. Like, it's going to be risk reward. There's going to be negative plays, but they're going to give up some big plays. But I think the construction of this roster, when you look at it defensively, it is far more equipped to be an upper echelon pass defense than run defense. So I'll say they're much better against the pass and the run. But I'll also say this: they didn't get DJ Reader, they didn't draft a nose tackle. There are two things we need to erase from our list of our offseason wish list. They're not drafting a backup quarterback. They're not getting a big body nose tackle. I'm done believing it's going to happen. This has been too long of them having opportunities to do it, and they don't do it. That's not on the cards for this front office.
It's like me when people ask if there's going to be, a receiver early. I tend to think like I'll wait on it. I don't think it's going to happen. It might be like kind of built into what they do, but that's all right. Joe, right. It's of course a matchup league, and whatever. I'm thinking back to the years and years of McDermott and his defense, and they'd have a run defense that had a reputation for being soft, and then they would come and play Baltimore in a playoff game, and they would stop Derrick Henry, right? It was supposed to be a nightmare matchup for them, but they could scheme around it and find a way and not get ripped up by Derrick Henry in a playoff game. If you were to kind of lay out what, again, like it's all on paper, we're waiting to see exactly how they put it together. But what kind of offense does this defense look like it might, on paper, have trouble matching up against? Is it a big power run game like maybe they're trying to build in L.A. with the Chargers and Mike McDaniel and what Baltimore used to be? Like I wonder how we will watch this season play out, and going in, who you'd be worried about them making stops against.
I think it would still kind of be the same types of offenses, and maybe that's not what people want to hear, but I still think if they're going to have to be gap sound, whether that's with their movement ideas or just, fighting pressure with pressure and being firm against the run, I still feel like they lack the people up front to do that, whether that's their down linemen or even, you're going to play Terrell Bernard every snap. Like, even when he's healthy, he's not a very good take-on downhill player against the run. And so I think it's the similar type teams that can come in with size and power and, have a commitment to running the ball they're still going to give me concern for different reasons, but it's ultimately they still have a lean front and they don't have, guys that I really think are going to keep the second level clean. And so you're going to rely on scheme to maybe get ahead of blocks and make plays. I mean, that's going to lead to some good negative plays, but I worry about whether or not you can do enough of that, because ultimately it's going to come down to one-on-ones. Like at some point you gotta be able to hunker down and anchor and hold your ground. And if you're unable to do that, you're going to get moved out of the way, and there's going to be space, and NFL teams are going to run the ball. So I do still have a concern about the run defense. I to the credit of like the McDermott defenses, not every time, but a lot of times, like you mentioned with the Ravens in the postseason, when they were like committed to, hey, we got to do this, we have to stop the run. They had some really good moments, but there were also plenty of times where that wasn't the case. I mean, think about the Colts games and some of those Eagles games where it just kind of got away from them. Even the Dolphins was it last year? They got ran over. So it can certainly happen. New way of getting to the problem, but I still wonder if they have the horses up front to truly be firm against the run.
Joe Marino, Locked On Bills podcast, as we count down the hours to Sabres Canadians, talking little Bills here who have their rookie camp rolling soon, and maybe we see some Bills players in town for a Sabres playoff game. Of these rookies, Joe, like, who are you the most excited to see them fit in this new, whether it's defense or, of course, you can switch to the offense, whether it's Skylar Bell. Which rookie are you most eager to see how quickly they're able to be integrated into the team?
Yeah, I think the guy that's most interesting for me is going to be Caleb Elarm-Zor, one of the fourth-round picks, the linebacker out of TCU. We think about Denver, and I'll say this, listening to Greg Rousseau on the Cover One film room earlier this week, and him talking about how he made a lot of references to Denver and watching the Denver defense. And so I think it's okay for us to start to really think that a lot of the Denver principles will be carried over to this unit. Caleb Alarm-Zor becomes even more fascinating to me because they played. Of course, they were a base 3-4 with 2 inside backers, but they still played 3 backers. They played Alex Singleton, Dre Greenlaw, and then Justin Sternad. And Justin Sternad's like this downhill blitzer, gap plugger, take-on player that could be a spy player that has athleticism, and that's exactly what Caleb Alarm-Zor is. And I don't think that from a processing or read and react perspective, he's ready to go as a full-time player. But as that third guy that can come in and play downhill, and he's has legit rush moves. There were times at TCU they played him off the edge and just said, go rush. And he showed a lot. And so I think as we talked about in free agency going and getting a Leo Chenal type player. Well, I think they got one here in the 4th round with tons of athleticism, good size, that a creative defensive mind like Jim Leonard, I think, can have some fun with. And so what does that role look like? How does it evolve? That's the one that I find myself the most fascinated with.
Joe Marino of the Locked On Bills podcast. We'll talk next week, Joe. And maybe the Sabres are through by then, on to the next round. Never know. Could go quick.
That would be, I'll tell you, if they're playing playoff games in Raleigh, I'm going. I've never been to an NHL game, and I would hate that my first NHL game would not be in Buffalo, but the chance to go see playoff hockey would be the conference finals, right? I got to go. So
one thing,
I'm hoping to be going to some of those games next week.
One thing I wonder is, last time the Sabres played the Hurricanes in Carolina, it was 2006, obviously, and I would classify that game – I went to Game 5. And I would classify that as a takeover, that we took over the arena. And I just don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if Carolina, 20 years later is firmer in the way they support their team, or if they can still be taken over. But I am ready to find out. So,
well, there's the Buffalonian transplants here to the Carolinas is pretty strong. And so I know there's thousands of people just like me that are going to want to get their hands on some tickets and put plenty of blue and gold in that arena.
Yep. Thanks, Joe. We'll talk next week.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy.
Well, hopefully the Sabres make it to Carolina. My Carolina experience, Game 5, 2006. Epic trip. 13-hour bus trip, station trip. That was not just Owen goes to the game. That was, I don't know if it was a contest or how people got on the bus. I don't remember that. If we did
a crew.
Oh, yeah, 30 listeners piled onto a coach bus, and me and Shope and 30 listeners drove to Carolina.
Why didn't we do that for Boston? Well, I guess because we did it in about 10 minutes.
There's still time.
There is time.
There's time. There's more series to happen here. Yeah. We got on a bus, drove to Carolina. I remember we drove through Williamsport because by where the Little League World Series is.
Yep.
And the rest of it was, it was a trip. I remember that when we checked into our hotel, that the person behind the desk had the name tag on for whatever hotel it was, a national chain. I don't remember what chain.
Yeah.
And the person's name was Ryan Miller.
Oh, wow.
And I asked him for his name tag, and he gave it to me. And I had that for 15 years, as part of my Sabres and Bills downstairs, all the goofy stuff you keep. Yeah, Ryan Miller checked us in. And then we went to that game, and they got up 3-1, singing the shout song. That was do the hey call in the bathrooms and thundering through RBC Center is what it was called at the time. Is it still RBC Center? I don't even know.
It might be because I recognize that name.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was an incredible experience, and then they did not win the game, and that was unfortunate. The Sabres. They chased the goalie. They chased Gerber, Cam Ward. Well, I feel like they chased the goalie out in that series 3 times, maybe twice.
That might be right. It's tough.
It's fine. I also remember a guy right across the aisle from us was from Rochester and was a Hurricanes fan, and we were stunned by that. How could this be possible?
Yeah. Whoa. That's crazy.
They lost that game.
Lenovo Center is now though.
Okay, the Lenovo Center.
Carolina Hurricanes Arena.
Ooh. Could we take it over the same way? There is a parallel. You wonder, as Joe lays out there, the number of transplants. Listen, people make the point about the Sabres that you probably have a lot of Canadian fans living across the border, at least a number, that might be fans of another team, but they get a chance to come here and see hockey. So they do that. Are there Sabre fans in Carolina? I don't know, they would get like a 10-pack of tickets or I don't know about seasons, but they would watch and, I'm going to say this and feel like it does not happen, root for Carolina because there's hockey games, but then when the Sabres come in, it's like, oh, no, sorry. Right. My actual team is here. Because isn't that the case that people make about what Canadian fans in this area might do? Like, oh, I live near Buffalo, so I'll go see NHL hockey, but when the Leafs are in, or when Ottawa's in, whoever the team you grew up rooting for, or Quebec, right. They don't have a team, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, a road trip to Carolina. Anyone want to go to a 13-hour bus ride?
I'll do it. I've done my fair share of 13-hour bus rides, let me tell you.
Me too. I don't think I've ever done 13. I've done 9. I did a lot of bus trips with Niagara Hockey, and those bus rides.
Yeah.
My cutoff for is it a long ride was the difference between 6 and 7 hours. 6 is nothing.
Yeah.
Over 6 is a grind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 13 sounds pretty nasty.
Yeah, we used to do, our closest drive in New Mexico was 9.
Oof.
That was our and that's where we played our home games.
What do you do?
My first year.
You sleep?
Cards. You play cards. You play poker.
What's the game of choice? Poker?
Poker. Texas Hold'em.
It's not that exciting a game to play.
No.
It is when you're with a bunch of guys that you know as well as you get to know guys.
Sure.
When you play Texas Hold'em for 6 hours a day.
6 hours of Hold'em.
We would have, 7-8 hour games of poker on the bus.
That's not a selling point to me.
It was
8-hour game.
It was awesome. Win a lot of money on that bus.
I believe it.
I funded all my time there.
Yeah. Oh, you won. You won a lot.
I used to win a lot of money.
Just taking advantage of these rules.
I don't really know how I got to be okay at it, but I was okay at it, and I used to take money off my guys.
You played the players.
I did.
Keenan in Tonawanda. Good morning, Keenan.
What's up, man? Morning, boys. How y'all doing?
We're good.
First time, long time. 2 things I really want to say is, first, to answer your question earlier about who needs to have a big series. I think I need to see more from Norris. Hopefully he's feeling a little bit healthier, after a little time off between the games. I think he'll fare better against the Canadiens more than he did against Boston. And then lastly, I was at Game 1 and Game 3 last round, and compared to what I spent last round, I decided to grab a pair of tickets. So me and my brother will be going tonight. Now, I don't think I need to convince anyone to go to these games. It's playoff games, these meaningful games in Buffalo. But all I'm going to say on this is buy those tickets up, Sabres fans. Get in there because not only are you paying to go to a playoff game, but it's the memories you'll carry for the rest of your life. I'm 26. I grew up in the middle of both, droughts. Like many of us, I used to pray for times like this, and my earliest Sabres memories were those 05, 06, 06, 07 teams, with, Briere being my favorite player. And that era did not last long in the grand scheme of times. Now nearly 20 years later, it's taken us so long to get back.
Yep.
And, it's good to be back. So anyways, I appreciate, the call.
Yeah.
Been listening for almost 20 years now. Appreciate everything, Jer.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy these times. Go Sabres, go Bills. Have a good one.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Appreciate the call. Thanks for calling in. Sometimes you're saying like just do it, create the memory. Sometimes it's like, YOLO. It's just money. I don't have any money. That's just money. Just do it. Just spend $500 on a pair of tickets. Although that seems like a deal right about now. 803-0550 and 1-888-550-2550. A conversation for like after the playoffs end, wherever they end, anything short of the cup. I feel like the conversation gets to this. I did have this thought. I have had this thought throughout this little series. And Lindy kind of crystallized it when he talked about how yesterday he was at the podium, asked about the turnaround and all this. He said, we won 10 games, and people wondered, is this real? And then they won 10 more, or they won 7 more. And like, all right, is this real? Is this real? 2 weeks left in the season. Are they really going to win the division? How real is this? Okay, it's the playoffs. Are they going to win? And the fact that they kept doing it, and here we are in the second round, and maybe they'll win the series or maybe not. But I think that what they have done has warranted an offseason where the GM has truly no choice but to kind of go for it. The ages of your star players and how far you made it, like Kekalainen's offseason, it'll be, again, I don't want to like fast forward, but I think it's worth. If you'd gone out in the first round, you could say something like, "Well, we got a little ahead of our skis here, right? Like we went too fast. We were too good, too quick. Want to make sure not to do things too drastically." Maybe. I hope he wouldn't say that even in that case. But this is a division-winning team that's in the second round, and if they get to the conference final, like that's go for it status. Let's make the moves to get you there, and that's exciting in itself. 803-0550. Chad DeDominicis of Expected Buffalo on his thoughts on this series, the matchup, whether it's the numbers, what the Sabres have to do better. They'll win this series if blank. What matchup they could exploit the most. We'll get to Chad's thoughts and yours as well as we continue. Paul Hamilton, 8 o'clock. Liam McHugh of TNT at 9:15. Eric Engels, Sportsnet Montreal, 9:30 here on WGR. Who's the most important player in this round? We got round one. Most important player might have been, I mean, you could make a case it's Alex Lyon after what he did for his 4 games.
Yeah.
You can make a case it's Tuck. You can make a case it's Krebs.
Could.
I mean, Krebs had a great series. You could make a case for Doan or Benson or whatever. You've got a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Who will it have to be that is either the best player or gets a different outcome this time around? I feel like Tage will be an interesting answer here because he didn't find the back of the net after game 1. But I don't think he played poorly.
No, I think he generated a lot of chances.
I saw numbers on exactly that he was one of the top 5 in the league in generating chances, and 5-on-5 play was tremendous. He was great in game 6. And did you watch – sorry, all over the place, really. Did you watch the Quest for the Stanley Cup thing? I posted it yesterday.
I didn't get the chance to sit down and watch that yet.
They're doing a kind of like an embedded, like a Hard Knocks-ish kind of thing where there's a narrator and it's just video – and they're talking to players and a lot of on-the-bench stuff. And there's some cool things in there that I think Sabres fans would love. So if you check Quest for the Stanley Cup, it's TNT produced, I believe, and it's on YouTube.
It reminded me a lot of the old Road to the Winter Classic series on HBO that I used to love as a kid.
It's a lot like that, and the Sabres series, it's like 12 minutes to watch a recap of the Sabres series. It's a lot on the fans. They talk to Jason Zucker and sit down with him, and they've got a lot of bench audio. You'll get more Lindy coaching in that 12 minutes than you've seen in a long time. So that's cool. One thing I appreciated, and I'll probably remember like 5 or 6 things along the way. But one thing that's in that little 12-minute feature on the series is, I think it must be Game 5. It's Game 5, and the Sabres are struggling to score. They got the goal on the power play, and Tage on the bench, his attitude and his how vocal he is and the things he says, he is NHL Network. Sorry, not TNT. Thank you, NHL Network. His confidence is not a problem.
Yeah,
he's out there saying, "Get it to me again. It goes in next time. I'm putting the next one in." And he's talking up his teammates and talking how get it to me again. Next time you find me, that's going in. And then in overtime, Game 5 overtime, he's looking back and forth up and down the bench saying, who's going to be a hero? Who's going to be a hero? I'm going to go get this one. And, like, you know, I wonder if some teams might be afraid to talk openly about, like, who's going to be a hero. And obviously most teams might not. But I saw that in that moment and thought, like, all right, he's not the least bit, you know. Right. This dude won the gold medal. He scored important goals in the Olympics. It probably, you know, got him ready for big moments, big games.
We've made it. Game 1 of round 2. Sabres Canadiens at KeyBank Center. Sam Carrick, back at practice yesterday, is day today. For more, you can visit Paul Hamilton's pieces on our website, WGR550.com. Listen to WGR's Hometown Call with Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray as you watch the Sabres versus Habs playoff game. Pause your DVR and smart TV. Here's what you'll need to do. Download and open WGR on the free Odyssey app. Then you pause the Sabres and Habs game on your smart TV or DVR right at face-off. When you hear Dan and Rob with the face-off on the app, hit play on your TV and everything should be synced up there. Puck drop is set for 7 o'clock tonight. Some scores from the playoffs. Only one game last night. Colorado beat the Wild 5-2. They lead the series 2-0. Around the NFL, the Giants agreed to terms with defensive lineman DJ Reader on a 2-year, $12.5 million deal. The Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst said he expects edge rusher Micah Parsons and tight end Tucker Kraft to be back early in the season. Free agent wide receiver Stephon Diggs was found not guilty of assault yesterday. Round 2, playoff posters are ready for you. Stop by any Paula's Donuts location and grab the We Love River Hockey poster while supplies last. Hang it with pride at home, work, or take it with you to the game or watch party. Paula's Donuts, made with love, on Sheridan in Tonawanda, in the Premier Plaza in Williamsville, Southgate Plaza in West Seneca, and Seneca Street in Larkinville. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fans, WGR.
I think after this series, we kind of learned that this is just hockey. Media and stuff are kind of blowing it up about playoffs and different things, but you know, we play this sport in so long, so it's just hockey. But the level is a little raised and the competitors raised. I think that's the main one. We just got to go out there and keep playing our game.
Sabres captain Rasmus Dahlin shifting into Sabres Canadiens mode, official. Less than 12 hours. You know, your typical pregame, 12 hours. Jeremy and Joe. Joe's out on leave. Back in a couple of weeks. Taking your calls on the Sabres and Canadiens. Previewing the series. What your vibe and what your feel is. Give us a ring at 803-0550 and 1-888-550-2550. Quickly, Mike in North Carolina. Hey, Mike.
Hey, I'm just excited to be on the show. Thanks for taking my call. I just want to let you know that, down here, I have a lot of friends that try to convert me to the Carolina Hurricanes, but I refuse. And I was at the game 1 of the Ottawa Senators Carolina Hurricanes game, and I met Eric Tulsky, and he actually tried to convert me over by offering a shirt. Wow. And I was like, no, that was crazy. But we definitely will take over if we're blessed to go to the finals. So I'm looking forward to it.
Very good. Thanks, Mike. Hopefully the Sabres can make it down there. Game 1 of this series is tonight. Carolina is up 2-0 in Philadelphia. They could close out that series by the time the Sabres and Canadiens are 2 games in. Joining us on the Western Hotline to preview this series and give us some thoughts on how we got here to this point is Chad DeDominicis of Expected Buffalo. Chad, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm all right. Kind of counting down the hours to get started on this game. You can follow Chad at Expected Buffalo, the podcast at Expected Buffalo, a podcast, the site, all the stuff, all the previews, all the elements of it. Chad, for this series, the first question I want to ask you is actually, yes, it's about Buffalo-Montreal, but did you have the same feeling about Tampa that I did? Like, Montreal getting by Tampa is a great accomplishment for them, and Tampa is a potentially great team. But I did not think Tampa was the same team in the last 2 months, that they were this juggernaut that had just been kind of waiting to wake up. Maybe they were and they never did wake up, but how big was it for you to see Montreal do what they did to Tampa?
Yeah, I think Tampa had some struggles late. I think losing Hedman, even though he's not the player that he used to be, had an impact on them. They had a couple of guys who had injuries. Point wasn't 100%. He was out for a time. And also Raleigh got an injury late in the season. It kind of felt like they were nearing the end or hitting the, kind of running out of gas there. And It's interesting, though, because if you look at some of the numbers, they kind of outplayed Montreal. I mean, especially, Game 7, where the shots like 30-2 or something like that.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, I mean, honestly, I probably, if I had to pick, I would say I'd rather play Montreal because Tampa Bay just has the veteran experience and all of that. And so I think this series will be more fun. It'll be more open and, two up-and-coming teams. So I'm kind of happy the way that it turned out.
A lot of people are expecting a high-flying, kind of wide-open series. Do you expect the same?
I think it'll get there. Like today, I could see most of the game or half of it at least, more of a feeling out. These are two teams that, Buffalo came out of the muck-it-up mud game that Boston wanted to play. And really it was low event between Montreal and Tampa Bay. So a lot of defensive and some low-scoring hockey, especially at the end of the series. So I think there'll be a little bit of a feeling out period, as most series have. But I think eventually we'll get there when both teams realize, there's more space, and we'll just try to skate each other into oblivion. There'll be physical play, but it's not going to be, what we saw last series for sure.
Last series, I had this, kind of, I wanted to couch my excitement because I know a lot of the numbers on the playoffs to this point. The Sabres are in a really good spot in terms of expected goal share and quality of shots given up, and there are a lot of things about what
take it for what it is. I mean, they accomplished those things, right? I mean, Boston wasn't they're not a slouch team by any means. Sure, they couldn't end up skating with the Sabres, and their defense isn't great, but they were still able to execute all of those things. They had to generate the offense they did to beat Swayman when they did, and I think that's a good thing for the style of hockey that they played. And maybe we look back, that was a good first-round opponent for them because it really pushed them into playing that playoff style of hockey, that really having to rely on your forecheck and get in on pucks instead of, getting out in transition and on the rush. So showing that they can do it for, 75%, 80% of that series, I think it's pretty encouraging because now you could take it into this series where you can do that similar thing, or you can revert back to some of that transition hockey, the rush hockey they like to play. So, yeah, I would give them credit. I think even for the defensive numbers, Boston had some scorers. They're, a 1.5 line team, but they played good defensive hockey. They were good in transition. So, I think everything stands, and that's including their poor playoff performance. It's all stuff for sure that is reliable.
Chad DeDominicis joining us in the Western Hotline. All right, Chad, so this matchup and how it will ultimately play out, it will be won and lost where? I mean, is even enough to say that goaltending could just do it? Like they need Dobesh to play as well as he played against Tampa, and the Sabres will need Lyon to continue to play the way that he has, or someone in net to play the way that Lyon has?
Yeah, probably. It's like you said, I think it's going to be a really close series. I think something like goaltending is going to be extremely important. And then, I feel like I'm beating the horse on this because we talked a lot about it last series, but special teams too. Maybe this time more than ever because that Montreal power play, it goes. And there's a lot of dangerous players on there, and they scored 5 power play goals last round. Now a lot of that came in the first game, but still, you got to maintain, you got to control their power play because I think at 5-on-5, you're probably slightly the better team.
Yeah.
But if their power play gets going, and if it gives their players confidence, Caulfield only had 1 goal in the series prior. Slavkovsky had 3, but all of them came in game 1, and he can see the score sheet the rest of the series. Demidov, I don't think, had any goals. You let him build confidence on the power play, that's going to feed over to 5-on-5, and you're then up in an uphill battle.
Yeah, like with the power play for the Sabres, Chad, it's a very low bar. But it felt like as the series went on with Boston, the power play went from something that was sucking the life out of the team to something that actually looked like it was passable, right? They got a power play goal from Dahlin, but I thought it was passable, and it was not something that was whatever. You mentioned confidence there. The Sabres players weren't getting frustrated by it. And if nothing else, like that felt like a small victory, and maybe they can push forward from there.
Yeah, I think they changed some things around for sure. So it did look better at the end of the series. I think part of that was a couple games that Austin was able to get in. And, So yeah, I mean, I think there's something to build off of that. Like I said, they got that goal. I mean, if you want to cheat, they technically, you could say the Doan one should have counted for one. So maybe we'll say they scored 1.5 power play goals. So yeah, I mean, it's weird in the playoffs, and how power plays go. You could just kind of hit a heater, and this might be a nice round to kind of hit a small 5-6 game heater with the power play.
Sam Carrick, if he returns, we're talking, margins in this series. How important do you think it could be if he's able to go, whether it's tonight or game 2, whenever he gets in? How big of an upgrade is it once Carrick goes in the lineup?
Oh, I think it's huge. I think it really solidifies them down the middle. As long as he can play center, with that elbow, that could be his face-offs in center. Maybe they don't start him there, but we'll see. But, yeah, it's huge. It solidifies their entire lineup. It makes them deeper. Just thinking about how important he was, how impactful he was when he played, not only from his role in the fourth line, but also from a production standpoint in the bottom of the lineup. Since he went out, that fourth line just hasn't given you anything from a scoring standpoint, but they're not really expected to. But now in this type of series, when you're going against a deep lineup, and they can kind of hit you on all 4 lines, it's nice to have that potential back in. So I think it's huge. Like you said, I don't know if he plays tonight, but I have a feeling by game 2 he's in there, and it makes him deeper, and they definitely need that in the series.
Chad DeDominicis, Expected Buffalo. You can follow on Twitter at Expected Buffalo. And you're doing live post games too. I know that too, right? Like you've been, checking in right after games. So all the coverage you can need.
Exactly. Yeah, it's been wild. It's a couple late nights and getting ready between games and all of that fun stuff. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. Having fun.
All right. Right. After all these years, on to round 2. Thanks, Chad.
Yep.
Chad DeDominicis, Expected Buffalo. You can be a subscriber. Does great work. A lot of good stuff. Advanced scouting reports. Has an advanced scout up on Montreal. And, again, follow along on Twitter at Expected Buffalo. 803-0550. Get a break in. Get some more of your calls in. We've got a rumbling on who the drum banger might be. I might have a little bit of a lead on that tonight. We'll talk about that. Paul at 8. We also have a new segment, Hot and Cold from Belknap. Liam McHugh at 9:15, Eric Engels, Sportsnet Montreal at 9:30. Here we go. Game day. Who's ready? Has the rain stopped? Also, I have questions about Party in the Plaza. I've never, or Canal side. I have questions that I'm going to crowdsource. For instance, like, what kind of beer options are we looking at down there? What do we got? Right? Food, beverages. Like, I've not done it. So, give me a review of Party in the Plaza. If you've done it, if you've done a Canal side party. Might be headed down to Canal side for the first time for one of these, even though it's going to be maybe a little damp, not too cold, not too windy. We'll make it work. 803-0550, 1-888-550-2550 on WGR. Jeremy White here for Z-Bar. Like with the power play for the Sabres, Chad, it's a very low bar. But it felt like as the series went on with Boston, the power play went from something that was sucking the life out of the team to something that actually looked like it was passable. Right? I mean, they got a power play goal from Dahlin, but I thought it was passable, and it was not something that was whatever. You're mentioning confidence there. The Sabres players weren't getting frustrated by it, and if nothing else, like that felt like a small victory, and maybe they can push forward from there.
Yeah, I think they changed some things around for sure. So it did look better at the end of the series. I think part of that was a couple games that Austin was able to get in, and so yeah, I mean, I think there's something to build off of that. Like I said, they got that goal. I mean, if you want to cheat, they technically, you could say the Doan one should have counted for one. So maybe we'll say they scored 1.5 power play goals. So yeah, I mean, it's weird in the playoffs, and how power plays go. You could just kind of hit a heater. And this might be a nice round to kind of hit a small 5-6 game heater with the power play.
Chad DeDominicis joining us in the Western Hotline. All right, Chad, so this matchup and how it will ultimately play out, it will be won and lost where? I mean, is even enough to say that goaltending could just do it? Like they need Dobesh to play as well as he played against Tampa, and the Sabres will need Lyon to continue to play the way that he has, or someone in net to play the way that Lyon has?
Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, like you said, I think it's going to be a really close series. I think something like goaltending is going to be extremely important. And then, I feel like I'm beating the horse on this because we talked a lot about it last series, but special teams too. Maybe this time more than ever because that Montreal power play, it goes. And there's a lot of dangerous players on there, and they scored 5 power play goals last round. Now, a lot of that came in the first game, but still, you got to maintain, you got to control their power play because I think at 5-on-5, you're probably slightly the better team.
Yeah.
But if their power play gets going, and if it gives their players confidence, Caulfield only had 1 goal in the series prior. Slafkovsky had 3, but all of them came in game 1, and he can see the score sheet the rest of the series. Demidov, I don't think, had any goals. You let him build confidence on a power play, that's going to feed over to 5-on-5, and you're then up in an uphill battle.
Game one tonight. Game 1 of the first round. I mean, the Sabres the last couple years, they've made the playoffs. The last time they were down 0-1 in a series. Sorry for asking this question. This is not a jinx. Absolutely not. Last time they were down 0-1 in a series. When they played Philadelphia, they won Game 1. When they played Boston, they won Game 1. All right, now we're back into 05, 06, and 06, 07. Ottawa Conference Final, they're down 0-1 because they were down 3-0 in that series. I don't really remember the order of the Rangers series. I don't think they lost Game 1. When they play the Islanders, they lost Game 2, right? Or Game 3? I don't know. Why do I do this? Why do you guys let me do this? I think of something, and then I ask it. If I thought of it 30 seconds ago, I could have looked it up and been like, hey, by the way, did you know? Instead, I just have the thought live, like, oh, I wonder.
And we're no
I guess
help.
people will have to look it up.
And we're no help either because we're 24 years old, so we weren't alive, so we don't have that deep history because they've been so bad for so long. They haven't been back in the playoffs since we've been caring. It's
been a while.
So
Sentient beings.
We don't have, the log, the knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, this is our start of it. This is going to be our, this is the start of our bank of playoff Sabres knowledge.
I'm opening up the 06-07 year to find out. In the meantime, Tim in Atlanta. Hey, Tim, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
We're good.
Good. You were talking about Game 5, Hurricane Sabres back in 06. I was in mid-20s, and somehow the morning of, a few of us decided to get tickets from Atlanta to drive up to Raleigh to see the game, and we were surprised to be able to get Game 7 tickets. So we got those and went up there, and it was crazy. We were winning, I think, 2-1, in the third. We were chanting some stuff about their crowd not being able to sell their tickets out, and we just got tickets that day and all that, and then they came back and beat us. But just crazy game, fun. I'm looking forward to tonight. A lot of us here in Atlanta are just psyched. Talked to kids at people at kids' sporting events, and everyone's just pumped, looking forward to this series. So let's get through this one, and then we'll get to Carolina. We can get some tickets for that.
Very good.
So,
Thanks,
appreciate
Tim.
you guys' show.
Thanks, Tim. Game 7 in Carolina. Not a great memory. I think the last time the Sabres were down 1-0 in a series was 2001. Pittsburgh. They lost 3-0 in the opener. They were down 2-0 in that series and then won 3 straight. Paul Hamilton when we return. Sabres and Canadiens, Game 1 tonight. You can hear it right here on WGR. Turn down the television, turn up the radio. Game's on TNT tonight. But Liam McHugh joins us at 9:15. Jeremy and Joe on WGR. Who's the most important player in this round? We got round 1. Most important player might have been, you could make a case it's Alex Lyon after what he did for his 4 games.
Yeah,
You can make a case it's Tuck. You can make a case it's Krebs.
Could.
Krebs had a great series. You could make a case for Doan or Benson or whatever. You've got a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Who will it have to be that is either the best player or gets a different outcome? Jeremy White here for Russell's Tree and Shrub Farm. I feel like Tage would be an interesting answer here because he didn't find the back of the net after Game 1. But I don't think he played poorly.
No, I think he generated a lot of chances.
I saw numbers on exactly that he was one of the top 5 in the league in generating chances, and 5-on-5 play was tremendous. He was great in Game 6. And did you watch – sorry, all over the place, really. Did you watch the Quest for the Stanley Cup thing? I posted it yesterday.
I didn't get the chance to sit down and watch that yet.
They're doing a kind of like an embedded, like a Hard Knocks-ish kind of thing where there's a narrator and it's just video, and they're talking to players and a lot of on-the-bench stuff. And there's some cool things in there that I think Sabres fans would love. So if you check Quest for the Stanley Cup, it's TNT produced, I believe, and it's on YouTube.
It reminded me a lot of the old Road to the Winter Classic series on HBO that I used to love as a kid.
It's a lot like that, and the Sabres series, it's like 12 minutes to watch a recap of the Sabres series. It's a lot on the fans. They talk to Jason Zucker and sit down with him, and they've got a lot of bench audio. You'll get more Lindy coaching in that 12 minutes than you've seen in a long time. So that's cool. One thing I appreciated, and I'll probably remember like 5 or 6 things along the way. But one thing that's in that little 12-minute feature on the series is, I think it must be Game 5. It's Game 5, and the Sabres are struggling to score. They got the goal on the power play, and Tage on the bench, his attitude and his how vocal he is and the things he says, he is NHL Network. Sorry, not TNT. Thank you, NHL Network. His confidence is not a problem.
Yeah.
He's out there saying, get it to me again. It goes in next time. I'm putting the next one in. And he's talking up his teammates and talking how, get it to me again. Next time you find me, that's going in. And then in overtime, Game 5 overtime, he's looking back and forth up and down the bench saying, who's going to be a hero? Who's going to be a hero? I'm going to go get this one. And I wonder if some teams might be afraid to talk openly about who's going to be a hero, and obviously most teams might not. But I saw that in that moment and thought, all right, he's not the least bit,
timid.
Right. This dude won the gold medal. He scored important goals in the Olympics. It probably, got him ready for big moments, big games.
We've made it. Game 1 of round 2. Sabres, Canadiens at KeyBank Center. Some news from practice. Sam Carrick was back yesterday in his day today. For more, you can visit Paul Hamilton's pieces on our website, WGR550.com. You can listen to WGR's Hometown Call with Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray as you watch the Sabres versus Habs playoff games. Here's all you need to do. Download and open WGR on the free Odyssey app. Pause the Sabres and Habs game on your smart TV or DVR at Face-Off. When you hear Dan and Rob with the Face-Off on the app, you can hit play on your TV. You should be set from there. Puck drop is set for 7 o'clock tonight. Some scores from the playoffs. Only one game last night. Colorado beat the Wild 5-2. They lead the series 2-0. And around the NFL, the Giants agreed to terms with defensive lineman DJ Reader on a 2-year, $12.5 million deal. Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst said he expects edge rusher Micah Parsons and tight end Tucker Kraft to be back early in the season. And free agent wide receiver Stephon Diggs was found not guilty of assault yesterday. Don't go now, but Round 2 playoff posters are nearly ready for you. Stop by any Paula's Donuts location later today and grab the We Love River Hockey poster while supplies last. Again, not now, but later. Hang it with pride at home, work or take it with you to the game or watch party. Paula's Donuts, made with love. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet, with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fans, WGR.
The Buffalo Sabres. Are they playing this anywhere other than the one bar that I go to where they play it before every game? Glenn Colton's. I need this in the arena.
They should be.
Are you not allowed to play it in the arena because it already talks about the cup and it's jinxy? We've been singing this song since October.
Yeah,
it's true.
So,
and the other one, we're going to win that cup. I mean, that exists, right?
Yeah.
I feel like they should be playing this.
Maybe.
I just need it in more places.
Some players on the team would have a problem with it, I'll tell you right now.
What? Why?
For sure.
What?
Because it's talking about the cup. Who's going to win it?
Alex Tuck said it. We're all allowed to do it now. Once he said we're going for the cup.
Somebody's going to have a problem.
Oh, someone has a problem with everything.
I know. That's my point.
Paul's going to say he has a problem with that song. Hey, Paul, good morning.
Didn't Cammie Clooney redid that? We're going to win that cup.
I know.
She put in the players now instead of the players before that were in it last time.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get that rolling out too. We need "Rolling on the River." We're gonna need that. We need all the music, all of it. How are you, Paul? You wake,
How are you?
You wake up thinking about playoff hockey. It's been forever, Paul. Since Friday.
I know. The players didn't seem to mind the break, though. I mean, I asked each one of them, and not one of them had a problem with it. It was good to have the break, they thought.
Yeah. Well, good. They're healthy for the most part. Ostlund, of course, still there. But Sam Carrick, what is your read on that? He's back at practice. Did he explain how the timeline all of a sudden got accelerated so quickly? Because Lindy had kind of ruled him out for the series, and then upon further review, actually he's going to practice tomorrow. What ultimately happened with that?
He said the injury he had is not an injury you normally get in hockey, so they didn't have a real good base, all right, well, this is how this goes type of a thing. So he said they basically told him 6 to 8 weeks. First it was 4 to 6, and then it was 6 to 8, and he kind of had six weeks in his mind. But he wound up getting out ahead of schedule just because, again, they really didn't have anything to base it on because, as he said, it's not an injury the hockey players normally get.
Right.
He did say there were no broken bones, and he said that he didn't hurt his shoulder. So
okay, we're left to
go from there.
All right. Well, he's back, so I don't have to study the film because he's back, and that's the good news. The Sabres injury report brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. So Carrick gets in, and whatever. We don't know about tonight. Day to day is what they say. I don't know, Paul, like as you lay it out, not really a hockey injury, didn't take as long. I feel like I want to maybe accelerate the day-to-day to thinking he could possibly play tonight.
He did not take line rushes yesterday, and he was out there an awful long time.
Okay.
I mean, we were in the locker room because some of the guys took him a while to come out and talk, and so we were probably in the locker room longer than we ever are. And he never made it into the locker room. He wound up coming to the podium after Lindy. So he was out there a long time. That, I always say never. I won't say he definitely is not playing tonight until somebody says differently, but it just didn't look like it.
Okay, fair enough. Other than Carrick, though, and Ostlund, everybody's good to go. Logan Stanley's back. He was sick for a little while. He's back, and for the most part, we expect the rest of the roster to be fully good to go.
Yeah, I haven't even seen Ostlund around, so it's I don't think we're going to get all of a sudden he's on the ice too type of a deal. But Stanley's fine. He's back in his spot and ready to roll.
Paul, do you think that in the event that this series goes in a way any differently, if they needed to go to another defenseman in the series, would it be Kesselring again, or would it not be because they clearly they dressed him and played him for 4 minutes? You think they'd dip into something else? Given it's a different series, maybe the matchup's different.
He was fine when he made a really nice play right next to the crease and looked like it was almost a sure goal coming, and he got over there and made a nice play. I think part of the problem is they dress two right-handed shots as the third D, and they don't like playing. It just doesn't seem to work out, a right-handed shot on the left side. So they never played together. They warmed up together, but they never played together. So when they wound up going out there, it had to be with one of the top four guys, whether it was Timmins or whether it was him. So I think they just wind up settling on Kesselring, or on Timmins rather, and he was like the fifth guy, and I think Kesselring kind of got lost in the sauce. But it wasn't because he was playing poorly in the 4 minutes he played. He just, I think it was the logistics of it. It's like, all right, we're going to just go with one of them.
Paul Hamilton joining us on the Western Hotline here ahead of Game 1. If you got a call, you can throw a call our way at 803-0550 and 1-888-552-550. Paul, what about this matchup are you most interested to see? It doesn't have the pretext where one coach says we're bigger and stronger. I haven't seen any sort of commentary from Montreal that would really raise any eyebrows, and I think a lot of people think these teams are somewhat similar in the way that they play and the way that they're built. So what about the matchup are you most eager to see?
How the Sabres forecheck and how they play in the offensive zone, to see how Montreal handles that. Because as you know, it's a rotation type of a thing that other teams just don't do. So when teams play the Sabres, it's like, okay, we got to figure this out, type of a thing. Now, it's been a while since they played Montreal. They've won 2 of the last 3. They wound up going 2-2 against them, but they took 2 of the last 3. And if I recall correctly, Montreal scored awfully late to win that game that Buffalo didn't win. I think they scored in the last couple minutes to go ahead in that game. So I'm just wondering how that's going to go. I'm wondering what they've got in store for Caulfield, kind of like Pasternak, but Pasternak had to, beat him a little bit in the first game for them to say, okay, wait a minute, we got to figure this out. And I thought they did, because the goal he scored in overtime, he came off the bench. It wasn't what he was doing in the beginning of the series when he was getting behind everybody. And Caulfield just seems to, especially on the power play, cause havoc with the Sabres. So I'll be interested to see, too, what they do with Suzuki and Caulfield. Suzuki, for the last couple of years, seems like every year he gets better and better as far as an offensive player, a two-way player. And so it'll be interesting to see what they have in store to try to shut those two down too.
The Montreal power play has been good in this postseason, and Paul, one thing I was talking earlier about, like the feeling out process, how the early part of a series might be more of a feeling out. I feel like one of the things that they're going to have to feel out, and I don't know how much like coaches would talk to officials before a series, but what kind of series are we going to get from the officials in terms of like what they call? What do they call? How tight is it going to be? Because a Montreal power play, I feel like, is a little bit more dangerous than the Boston power play was.
I got an idea. Maybe just call the rule book.
Well,
I know they don't
it's
do that
ideal
in the NHL.
in theory.
Yeah, I know they don't do that in the NHL. But and the interesting part of the Montreal power play is Caulfield only had one goal the whole series.
Yeah.
You know, so you would think if their power play is going, which it was, he would be the one that be putting the puck in the net, but he wasn't. So that was kind of weird too. And the Buffalo power play, I think, as the Boston series went on, started looking a little bit better. They almost scored in one game, then they did score in the next. So we'll see if they continue to improve and continue maybe to play well enough that they can start scoring them some goals themselves with the extra man.
Paul, there are 3 names I want to give you that in the Boston series, didn't find the score sheet much, and it's McLeod, Zucker, and Quinn. And matchup based, whatever you might say, like, is this the kind of series where maybe you could get more from them? Is there any way that the Sabres could find more depth of scoring? They got Thompson in game 1, and after that it was kind of spread out. Tuck got on the score sheet. Krebs did. We saw, of course, Doan and Benson. But missing was that McLeod, Zucker, Quinn dynamic. And obviously getting that going, I think, would be huge for this team going forward in this series and on beyond that.
I'm more concerned with that line defense. I in that last game, it got to a point where I don't even know if I would have been playing him in the third period. That's what really McLeod and those guys are. He's a good two-way player, but he just for whatever reason he and Quinn really had their problems defensively, and it got to a point where Boston was really all over them. But Lindy Ruff just kept putting them out there, and I would think that's the line he would want out there if they're playing well against Suzuki. But if they're playing like they did in Boston, you can't put them out there against them. I mean, every time they got out there, Sturm couldn't get Pasternak out there fast enough.
Yeah.
That line has some things to, I think, to figure out and to clean up, so to speak, start this series.
Do you have any one culprit on the line specifically?
I didn't like Quinn or McLeod. Yeah. I didn't like either one of them. I thought Zucker was fine. But they just seemed like they were just turning the puck over a lot. They were out of position. McLeod still doesn't want to shoot the puck at the odd chance, but they weren't in the offensive zone all that much. He wasn't. I didn't think he was using his speed all that well. So they just got to clean something. I mean, we know they're quite capable. I mean, there's no question about that. But I just think they got some things to clean up, because especially if they wind up out there against Caulfield and Suzuki.
Paul, do you have any sort of buying into the idea that the Sabres, they've been such a good road team, right? They won 3 games in Boston, and that'll obviously lead to some half joking stuff about how, well, we're better on the road anyway. What can they do to improve at home? If that's even really a problem you feel like they have. I mean, they won the division. They were good at home. They're good on the road. But whether they're tight or there's any sort of, hiccups in their game at home, pressure, say what it is, like the power play getting groans, is there anything that Lindy Ruff can focus on to find a way to get their A game at home, getting the crowd involved?
Yeah, he's brought that up twice now, that they have to get their home game straightened out. And the thing he really wants them to do is, instead of, I don't know, whether maybe getting uptight, because you want to really do well for the fans, because the fans are going crazy, and you really want to do well for them, tap into the energy. He thinks they can do a better job of tapping into that energy of the arena like they did in the regular season. I mean, that for the last X amount of games, close to 20 sellouts at the end, give or take, they were tapping into the fans. The place would go crazy, and they would go crazy. And I think Game 1 they finally did, when they won Game 1 against Boston and all of a sudden rolled off 4 goals in the last 8 minutes. I mean, they scored the first goal. The place goes crazy. And I thought they really did feed off the energy from that point forward to win the hockey game. So that's what he's looking for, is just get them going. And maybe don't be uptight at home. And now they've been through a series too. It's not like, well, this is our first series ever in a lot of cases. Now you're starting, okay, we've done this before. Maybe you don't have to be uptight, nervous, because you don't know what to expect. Now you do know what to expect.
Paul Hamilton, his appearance brought to you by Relax Honda. Relax, we got this. And finally, Paul, like we're kind of, moving all around the roster. Lyon, again, has been very good, so expect him back. The defense, things kind of went, I want to say they went smoothly, even though they lost a pair of games to Boston. Bo Byram, you loved him, right? We talked a lot about him throughout the series, early in the series, scored a couple goals. Do you still look at him as a primary driver of whether or not this team makes it further and further in the playoffs?
Well, I think Dahlin is that guy. But Bo Byram, the only game out of the 6 against Boston probably was Game 5, where he slipped a little bit, but Power was so good in that game. They were fine as a pair. But, in the first 4 games, he was great. As I think we discussed, I thought he was the MVP of the team through the first 4 games. Game 5 slipped a little. He was back to being what he was in the first 4 in Game 6, playing really well. Everybody's not perfect. I mean, everybody's not going to have phenomenal games every single game, and I think he did really, really well in 5 of the 6 games. And Game 5, he wasn't like awful. He just slipped a little from what we had seen in the first 4.
Paul Hamilton on Montreal and Buffalo tonight. 7 o'clock face-off down at KeyBank Center. All right, Paul. Here we go. Round 2. And
you going to be there?
I'll be, I think, down at the Plaza. I'm actually going to do some going to ask some questions about Plaza parties and Canal side parties. Haven't done that. I'll be there Friday.
Are you going to be like singing the new Cammy song for the fans?
I'll be wearing rollerblades. That's the you look for me. I'll be skating around on rollerblades. That's my plan. Yeah.
Well, don't kill yourself.
I'll tell you, I don't know, superstitions, all that. I've got the 06 Tallinder jersey, which went 3-0 in the first round, and I might just have to save that if it's needed, later in this round. I don't think I'm rolling out with it to start, but I'm open to.
You'd have to have a Carrick jersey if you're going to wear number 10 now.
Yeah, that's right. Ooh, maybe that's a good reason to wear a Tallinder jersey because all right, I'll wait till Carrick comes back. That might be my.
Good. If he doesn't make Game 1, I wouldn't be shocked at all to see him in Game 2.
Right. All right. I'll take it under advisement. Paul, how do you like the Leafs winning the lottery?
Yeah, it's kind of funny that the last 2 times the draft has been in Buffalo, the Maple Leafs have had the first pick.
Yeah.
They had the Matthews pick the last time, so it's at least it's not Edmonton. That's usually when Gary Bettman gets flushed in the face, especially when, oh, good, McDavid's going to play in Canada, and it's going to be in Edmonton. Yay!
Mm-hmm. Well, he might get him out of there soon. You never know.
Yeah, you're right. That could happen soon.
Thanks, Paul.
Take care.
Paul Hamilton, his appearance brought to you by Relax Honda. Relax, we got this. Pierre LeBrun just tweeting. He's in town covering the series for The Athletic. Calls it a changing of the guard series in the Atlantic Division. I mean, the Sabres won the division. Montreal took out Tampa. It's kind of like the format of the playoffs itself. Man, what would this matchup have been every single year for the last 7 years? Is it Tampa, Toronto, Tampa, Boston, Florida, Toronto, Tampa, Boston?
Yeah.
The last time, did Ottawa make it once?
Ottawa made it last year.
Last year, okay. Gotcha.
But that was it. They got knocked in the first round by the Leafs. So, yeah, I mean.
They made the playoffs. I'm saying the second round.
Oh, yes, sorry.
This matchup.
Right, this matchup.
The last time it wasn't Toronto, Florida. I mean, Toronto made it once.
Yeah.
Once, right? Was it just once? Because they got
2 times. They beat Tampa and they beat Ottawa last year.
Okay. Yeah, they lost to Boston a bunch.
Yeah, a bunch.
So Toronto, Tampa, Florida.
Yep.
Boston. Those 4 teams owned this entire playoff format.
Oh, yeah.
In this round. And here you have Buffalo, Montreal. It's just like any other sport. You get whether it's a changing of the guard or it's a one-off with, hey, something interesting.
Right.
This is why every year when we're talking about, hey, Brady and Brady's back. That's the worst thing I don't want to see it again.
Yeah.
What about the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game? Like, please, anyone else. I'm exhausted. And I guess that's been Tampa. That's been Tampa and Florida.
For sure.
Quinn in Florida. Hey, Quinn, good morning. Hello, Quinn.
Hey, sorry about that. How you doing?
Yeah, good. You're good.
So I had a little crazy, I guess, loyalty to the crest / crazy travel plan today. I was supposed to fly out of Fort Myers at whatchamacallit, at 6 a.m., and then my flight got delayed a little bit. And then I was supposed to go to Atlanta after, and that also got canceled. So I was on the connection with the phone for about 3-4 times, and then every single time it kept getting bumped back to 11, 12, 1, 2, and then obviously it got to the point where it was too late to get to the game tonight. So right now I am currently driving from Fort Myers to Punta Gorda to catch a 9:30 a.m. flight to Rochester, and then going from Rochester to Buffalo with a little bus fare with the Greyhound in order to make the game.
So you're going to make it?
Hopefully. Right now I'm currently about 30 minutes away from the Punta Gorda airport.
Yeah.
So I got 30 more minutes, and the flight leaves at 9:30. So hopefully I get in at 9 a.m. and then as long as I get there and the flight's still going, then I'll be good to go. But it's been a hectic morning.
There's just a flight from Punta Gorda to Rochester?
There is. Yeah, no, they out of Allegiant. They do Punta Gorda to Rochester and then also to Niagara Falls. But the Niagara Falls one was like $400, so I had to cancel my get the refund through Delta from Fort Myers, and then I did Rochester because it was only about $200.
Yeah.
And then I got about a $16 bus fare from Rochester to Buffalo. That should arrive at about 4 p.m.
Not bad. Good work, Quinn.
Yeah.
Good luck.
If I'm not there, then I guess it's my fault that they lost.
Well, then you got to get a hotel and stay a couple nights and go to game 2. You can't come all this way and then not go to a game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. I got to do that.
All right, well, safe
travels. You guys get a little kick out of that.
Yeah, safe travels and good luck. It's dedication.
That's
That's dedication.
That is impressive stuff. Good for you.
I thought you were going to say, like, I started driving. Like, you're not going to make it.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
You're not going to make it.
Hate to break this to you, but
it's 11 hours away.
No, that is legit. That's what we need around here, folks. That's why that right there is why I don't think it's going to be a Sea of Red tonight. Is that guy exists, and that guy I think is many of us.
The Sea of Red thing, like, listen, I'm not here to blame anybody or to ruffle feathers, but we mentioned that 2 days ago the number of tickets available on the one app that I track was like 3,300. That's down to 2,500. But the price to get in is no longer like that prohibitive. And if I could say it this way without trying to sound like I'm blaming anybody, if there are Montreal fans in the building, if all of the tickets were going for like $600 and people were profiting wildly off these tickets, you would say like, wow, those people sold to the highest bidder, and that's pretty terrible. Right now, people might be selling at a loss on face value.
I know many people that are right now like, how big a loss do I need to eat here? Like that's where they're at.
That's a great question. And all I would say is this is like, if 4,000 tickets get sold at half the price of what they would be at the box office, and those tickets get scooped up by Montreal fans, that says more about the buyers than the sellers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, also worth pointing out, there are a lot of great places to watch a game.
Right.
Like Party in the Plaza / Canal side. I've never done it. I'm probably going to do it tonight. People seem to like it.
Yeah.
You get to go down, be a part of the big crowd, watch the game, and not pay $250. So, maybe you're a Montreal fan that made the trip with no tickets thinking, let's see how it goes. And bang, they're half price off of what they were 2 days ago.
Right. It's a pretty good, like, hey, go to the game.
Yeah.
Just go to the game.
I'm looking at game 1. I'm looking at game 2. Like, game 2 is more expensive. And, like, the number of tickets, I could track that as well. But, like, I don't know. Could it be a sea of red? Probably not a sea. Could it be noticeably, people got in the building? I would bet yes.
Yes. I would bet that's right.
And that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. I keep saying that too. Like I'm not mad if it's 2,000 to 4,000 of them, but if it's 7 or 10, then like we've got problems.
Right. Meanwhile, Joe, what did you send me? Montreal fans are coming to game.
Yes.
They're coming in rollerblades.
Yes.
They're sending a Blade gang?
They're sending a Montreal Blade gang, the one that we saw kind of develop in
everybody just wants to be us.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to jump through some tables when they get down here, too?
Right.
Everybody just wants to be,
I got some concern about those guys' well-being if they show up.
Montreal
and they
Blade
see
gangs?
the Montreal Blade gang, if they run into the Buffalo Blade gang, there may be
we got a gang war in the
problems
city.
if that happens.
Yeah.
Big problems.
It's not the dummy they're going to be tackling.
No,
that's
right.
what's going to happen. It's going to get real.
I know.
Yeah. That was from a pretty prominent, I guess, Montreal fan page that said if you have rollerblades, get in touch.
You're going down, like, DM us. We're going to hook you up. Like, well, okay. Good luck.
Yep.
Good luck down there.
803-0550 is our phone number if you want to give a ring. We're open to take your calls here on the other side. Jeremy and Joe. Joe's out this week here on WGR. Chad DeDominicis joining us in the Western Hotline. All right, Chad, so this matchup and how it will ultimately play out, it will be won and lost where? I mean, is even enough to say that goaltending could just do it? Like they need Dobesh to play as well as he played against Tampa, and the Sabres will need Lyon to continue to play the way that he has, or someone in net to play the way that Lyon has?
Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, like you said, I think it's going to be a really close series. I think something like goaltending is going to be extremely important. And then, I feel like I'm beating the horse on this because we talked a lot about it last series, but special teams too. Maybe this time more than ever because that Montreal power play, it goes. And there's a lot of dangerous players on there, and they scored 5 power play goals last round. Now, a lot of that came in the first game, but still, you got to maintain, you got to control their power play because I think at 5-on-5, you're probably slightly the better team.
Yeah.
But if their power play gets going, and if it gives their players confidence, Caulfield only had 1 goal in the series prior. Slafkovsky had 3, but all of them came in game 1, and he didn't see the score sheet the rest of the series. Demidov, I don't think, had any goals. You let him build confidence on a power play, that's going to feed over to 5-on-5, and you're then up in an uphill battle.
Like with the power play for the Sabres, Chad, it's a very low bar. But it felt like as the series went on with Boston, the power play went from something that was sucking the life out of the team to something that actually looked like it was passable, right? I mean, they got a power play goal from Dahlin, but I thought it was passable, and it was not something that was whatever. You mentioned confidence there. The Sabres players weren't getting frustrated by it. And if nothing else, like that felt like a small victory, and maybe they can push forward from there.
Yeah, I think they changed some things around for sure. So it did look better at the end of the series. I think part of that was a couple games that Austin was able to get in. And so, yeah, I mean, I think there's something to build off of that. Like I said, they got that goal. I mean, if you want to cheat, they technically the Dome one should have counted for 1. So maybe we'll say they scored 1.5 power play goals. So, yeah, I mean, it's weird in the playoffs, and how power plays go. You could just kind of hit a heater. And this might be a nice round to kind of hit a small 5-6 game heater with the power play.
Sam Carrick, what is your read on that? He's back at practice. Did he explain how the timeline all of a sudden got accelerated so quickly? Because Lindy had kind of ruled him out for the series, and then upon further review, actually he's going to practice tomorrow. What ultimately happened with that?
He said the injury he had is not an injury you normally get in hockey, so they didn't have a real good base, all right, well, this is how this goes type of a thing. So he said they basically told him 6 to 8 weeks. First it was 4 to 6, and then it was 6 to 8, and he kind of had six weeks in his mind. But he wound up getting out ahead of schedule just because, again, they really didn't have anything to base it on because, as he said, it's not an injury that hockey players normally get.
Right.
He did say there were no broken bones, and he said that he didn't hurt his shoulder. So
okay, we're left to
go from there.
All right. Well, he's back, so I don't have to study the film because he's back, and that's the good news. The Sabres injury report brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. So Carrick gets in, and whatever. We don't know about tonight. Day to day is what they say. I don't know, Paul. Like as you lay it out, not really a hockey injury. Didn't take as long. I feel like I want to maybe accelerate the day to day to thinking he could possibly play tonight.
He did not take line rushes yesterday, and he was out there an awful long time.
Okay.
I mean, we were in the locker room because some of the guys took him a while to come out and talk, and so we were probably in the locker room longer than we ever are. And he never made it into the locker room. He wound up coming to the podium after Lindy. So he was out there a long time. That I always say never. I won't say. He definitely is not playing tonight until somebody says differently, but it just didn't look like it.
We've made it. Game 1 of round 2. Sabres, Canadiens at KeyBank Center. From practice yesterday, Sam Carrick was back in his day today. For more, you can visit Paul Hamilton's pieces on our website, WGR550.com. If you want to listen to WGR's Hometown Call with Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray, as you watch Sabres versus Habs playoff games, you can download and open the WGR on the free Odyssey app. Pause the Sabres versus Habs game on your smart TV or DVR at face-off, and then when you hear Dan and Rob with the face-off call on the app, you can hit play on your TV. You should be all set there. Puck drop is set for 7 o'clock. Scores from the playoffs, only one game last night. Colorado beat the Wild 5-2. They lead the series 2-0. And around the NFL, the Giants, they agreed to terms with defensive lineman DJ Reader on a 2-year, $12.5 million deal. Packers GM Brian Gutekunst said he expects edge rusher Micah Parsons and tight end Tucker Kraft back early in the season. And free agent wide receiver Stephon Diggs was found not guilty of assault yesterday. Don't go now, but Round 2 playoff posters are nearly ready for you. You can stop by any Paula's Donuts location and grab the We Love River Hockey poster when available while supplies last. Hang it with pride at home, work, or take it with you to the game or watch party. Paula's Donuts, made with love. You'll be able to grab those signs soon. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
We've become a pretty damn resilient team that we can manage the emotions of a series. Really felt our first periods, we were really on our toes, where our gap and taking time away from the opposition was good. There's just little things that you get to control, and I think our group did a good job of being able to control the emotions and put games away when it didn't go our way.
Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff. If you have not watched the Quest for the Stanley Cup Series, NHL Network putting that together, and round 1 was the Sabres, and from what I understand, they're going to stay with the Sabres going forward until somebody beats them and stay with that team. But if you didn't see that, it's a quick little kind of behind-the-scenes, inside locker room, speeches, all that stuff. So definitely check it out. Go to YouTube, Quest for the Stanley Cup, and you'll see Lindy coaching. Like, hockey coaches, we know they coach, but what he's saying in the locker room, what he's saying on the bench, pretty cool stuff. So check that out. 803-0550 to join us. Going to get to our new Belknap Heating hot and cold segment in a moment. But 2 quick things first. 1, I'd like all of you to possibly self-report right now, if you would. In the last 3 months, 4 months, have you been a person that has freaked out about the NFL onboarding replacement officials? Have you been someone that said something along the lines of, this league doesn't take its officiating seriously? Have you been someone to freak out about that? If you have, Negotiations between the NFL and the NFL Referees Association on a new CBA have progressed far enough. The union's having a ratification vote Thursday night. So, like, a lot of stuff about nothing. Didn't matter. Doesn't matter. This is Russell Wilson might go play baseball. NFL offseason is we got to freak out about something. And NFL officiating was it for a few minutes, and they could ratify a new CBA by Thursday. That's all. Good news. I think it's good news. Now we can go back to just hating the regular officials. This saved you a step. You were going to be mad at the replacement refs. Now you're mad at the regular refs. Rob in Connecticut. Hey, Rob. And then we're doing Belknap Heating, hot and cold. Hey, Rob.
Good morning, Jeremy. Good morning, Owen. Looking forward to tonight and the series. Enjoy the game, everybody in Buffalo. Yesterday you brought up something that had my mind going a little bit. The perfect scenario. And I was thinking about it. I feel as if Buffalo will take it in 6. But if it does get pushed to Game 7 and it does go to overtime, think about this. Who would you feel would get the game winner in overtime, and it's not someone we expect? And, someone as like McLeod gets the game winner. Like, would you expect that? No, absolutely not, because he doesn't shoot the puck. So who would get the game winner? Perfect scenario. Surprise. And then also, do you feel as if Montreal has taken notes from the way Boston played against us with clogging up the middle? Do you feel that Montreal will do the same thing against us? It will be a fast-paced game, but that one thing about clogging up the middle kind of gets to me a little bit, but not too concerned.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. I'm not sure. Like, for the Canadiens, they were a good team this year. They were also great on the road, by the way. Like, 24-9-8, one of the best road teams in hockey this year. Every bit as good as the Sabres on the road. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're not as big as Boston, that's for sure. They skate better than Boston. They're faster than Boston. So I think it'll be a very different looking series. I think you'll see, like we kind of said, a feeling out early, and then this thing could get wild. It could get river hockey style. So, and on who scores the goal, I don't care. Give me Jason Zucker. I think Jason Zucker is going to score an important goal somewhere. He was my pick to win Game 5 when it went to overtime with Philadelphia. I liked Zucker, and he nearly did score a late goal. That might have been the third period, though. Anyway, 803-0550. One more quick thing on what was I going to say there? Is about overtime or the Bruins or perfect scenario. Oh, I know what it was. I meant to bring this up. If you could choose a sweep or a 7-game series win, and after you choose, flash the Men in Black and forget the experience, what would you pick? And I guess I want to be careful because 7 games, you're not getting the rest you need. But, like, what's the better experience?
I think 7 games, right? You get the full.
Do you want to see the show that's more dramatic or the show that's boring?
I'm a drama guy. I feel like I would be all in on that.
I don't know. I think it would be pretty fun
to sweep.
Mm-hmm.
Having a sweep in a playoff run is like it just feels like a good feather in the cap.
Yeah,
we just dismantled a team.
Right. Colorado hasn't lost a game yet, by the way.
That's
they might keep
pretty
sweeping.
Cool. I would probably go sweep. I think that's more, even removing the rest part, which I am definitely thinking a lot about just because of the scheduling.
Yeah, because Carolina,
these 2 separate series.
They play Game 2 tonight.
Carolina could have 10 days of rest.
Yeah.
In between their last game.
Carolina's Game 2 is not tonight. Sorry. Carolina's game, they already played 2. So
yeah,
duh.
they're already through 2.
Right. What I was trying to say is Carolina's series could be over by Saturday the 9th, and the Sabres and Canadiens would be 2 games in.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Carolina's not lost yet either. Carolina and Colorado have not lost.
Yeah.
For what that's worth. All right, Belknap Heating, hot and cold. What do we got, Joe? Joe Kelly is taking over.
All right. So we could do this a couple ways, and I wanted to get your take on this because I opened it up to listeners yesterday. We got a lot of takes that flooded in.
Love it.
But do we want to say the hot take is like a hot take, or that's hot, that's good, cold is bad? What's the best way to go about this, you guys?
I think hot is good.
Okay.
Cold is like, this is ice cold. This sucks.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think that makes sense.
All right. We'll roll it like that.
What about if it's cold, like it's like, oh man, that's cold. Like if somebody did something to somebody, that doesn't mean that sucks. How about we just do it how we want?
We'll figure it out. Depending on the take, we can figure out how we justify it.
Yeah.
We'll start out with the playoff series that we're currently in.
To Montreal, then I was losing to the Bruins because that would have been a first-round exit, and that would have felt like it invalidated a lot. But the team itself, I'm much more concerned about Montreal.
Yes.
I think that is a very fair stance to take.
Yes, I like that. So next, Brendan tweets in. We go into a little bit of a Bills realm here. The Bills shout song should be reserved for touchdowns only. Go Bills should be used when interacting with other fans in the wild.
Is that from my brother-in-law?
Brendan
okay.
B33 on Twitter?
Unless he's got a burner. Put this on my brother-in-law's tombstone.
Right.
We should not play the shout song for field goals. That and bring back the Jills. Those are his two stances.
Okay.
What about a field goal that takes a lead? Well, what about a field goal that wins a game?
He's saying also Go Bills should be used when interacting with other fans in the wild. So it's not just in the game scenarios, it's like outside of the game. Like people doing the shout song at Sabres games and stuff like that. Like anything outside of a Bills game is unacceptable, he's basically saying. This tweet. Is that
weddings?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right. See,
you're trying to tell me you're not playing the shout song at a wedding. That's the coldest take ever. Get out of town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, we're playing it at weddings.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I got cold on this one, too.
Okay. I'm with you guys on that.
All right.
Next, we go back to the playoff series here. Canadiens uniforms and logo massively overrated throughout the hockey community. Maybe Brandon tweeted that one in. He said maybe a coldest take, depending on how you feel, but they're massively overrated, apparently, the Canadiens jerseys.
I can't get down with that at all. I think it's as good a look as there is in the league. Montreal. The logo is great.
What is the logo?
The C, the Canadiens. I like it a lot.
If these jerseys got released tomorrow, brand new, first time ever seen, you'd be like, what are those?
Right.
We love them because they're old. We love them.
I don't even care, though. Like, because it's ingrained.
They're fine.
How different is that than anything?
That's true. That's very true.
Like, what do we care?
I'm just saying, like, if you say they're the best in the league, like, if you think the best uniforms in the league are the original six teams, then, like, you don't get the vote.
I don't think that. I definitely
you're not you're not into fashion, you're into history.
I think the Sabres are up there for best jerseys in the league.
I think the Sabres are up there for best logo.
Yes.
Yes, that too.
I think the Sabres are up there for best name. It
is good.
I think I've always thought it's a sweet name.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Montreal's jerseys are fine. This is going to be a good jersey matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, like Vegas and Anaheim is a terrible jersey matchup. And no one is allowed to get on Ryan McLeod after what Jackson Lacombe did. Not shooting. From now on, in the history of the league, not shooting a puck into an empty net should be known as Jackson Lacoming. You must see if you have not seen. They're down 1-0 in a playoff game in Vegas, and he passed it to a guy's skates.
Yeah.
Who didn't even get a shot off.
It was terrible.
It's worse than Morgan Geekie in game 1, which also happened, right? Geekie didn't shoot against the Sabres at the end of the first period. Worse.
Yep.
Jackson Lacoming. If you don't shoot into an empty net when the goalie's don't even know you're there.
Yeah, that was horrible.
No, that was a tough one.
I got one more for you.
Okay.
Brian Mazurowski down the hall.
Preemptively cold. Preemptively cold.
I agree.
B-Maz has a style about him.
Well, apparently, Rush Hour Howard came in here and said he was putting it out on the air over there, too. So, apparently, Brian says you just can't wear the red butter knife jerseys in the arena for the next 2 weeks.
I agree with that.
You do?
100%. 100%. Yes.
If you...
Nope.
No red?
You can't wear No. That's absolutely correct. You want to wear the black goat head? Sure.
Right.
You can't wear the red alternate butter knives. That is correct.
What if that's your only jersey?
Yeah, what if that's all you want?
I don't know
Tough.
who out there is
wear a
that
blue
as their
shirt.
only jersey.
Tough. That's your only jersey. Don't care. I mean, listen, when I got dressed this morning, I looked across the jerseys and I saw that red butter knives jersey and I thought, like, I could wear that today. And then right now I realize that if I had done that, I would have been doing the thing that Joe does, where Joe always wears the opposite team's colors accidentally.
Doesn't Joe have a butter knife?
He showed up wearing the Jaguars colors during the playoff
Dressed
game.
as Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
The cosplay.
He did it again. What, did he do it for Boston? When
Tampa, I think he did.
Yeah. Like, please. No, I agree. You cannot wear the red butter knives to a game.
I think I think it's fair. I will go. I'll jump in on the hot. I don't hate it.
BMAS with a rare good take. BMAS has some opinions.
Yeah,
he likes the NHL's playoff format.
He does.
He thinks it's good.
I don't know.
Like Ryan Mazurowski.
I don't even know how to.
Yesterday, 2 days ago on May the 4th, he went off on a rant how they shouldn't be making any new Star Wars stuff because he doesn't like it. Like, how old are you? 75? All right.
That's hot or cold, though.
All right, brought to you by Belknap Heating and Cooling. For more comfort and less ka-ching, give Belknap a ring. All right, what next? We've got Liam McHugh of TNT coming up at 9:15, and we'll chat also with Eric Engels, Sportsnet Montreal, at 9:30. Sabres and Montreal Canadiens coming up tonight, 7 o'clock at KeyBank Center. Sam Carrick, what is your read on that? He's back at practice. Did he explain how the timeline all of a sudden got accelerated so quickly? Because Lindy had kind of ruled him out for the series, and then upon further review, actually he's going to practice tomorrow. What ultimately happened with that?
He said the injury he had is not an injury you normally get in hockey, so they didn't have a real good base, all right, well, this is how this goes type of a thing. So he said they basically told him 6 to 8 weeks. First it was 4 to 6, and then it was 6 to 8. And he kind of had six weeks in his mind. But he wound up getting out ahead of schedule just because, again, they really didn't have anything to base it on because, as he said, it's not an injury the hockey players normally get.
Right.
He did say there were no broken bones. And he said that he didn't hurt his shoulder. So
okay, we're left to
go from there.
All right. Well, he's back, so I don't have to study the film because he's back, and that's the good news. The Sabres injury report brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. So Carrick gets in, and whatever. We don't know about tonight. Day to day is what they say. I don't know, Paul, as you lay it out, not really a hockey injury, didn't take as long. I feel like I want to maybe accelerate the day-to-day to thinking he could possibly play tonight.
He did not take line rushes yesterday, and he was out there an awful long time.
Okay.
I mean, we were in the locker room because some of the guys took him a while to come out and talk, and so we were probably in the locker room longer than we ever are. And he never made it into the locker room. He wound up coming to the podium after Lindy. So he was out there a long time. That, I always say never. I won't say he definitely is not playing tonight until somebody says differently, but it just didn't look like it.
Chad DeDominicis joining us in the Western Hotline. All right, Chad, so this matchup and how it will ultimately play out, it will be won and lost where? I mean, is even enough to say that goaltending could just do it? Like they need Dobesh to play as well as he played against Tampa, and the Sabres will need Lyon to continue to play the way that he has, or someone in net to play the way that Lyon has?
Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, it's like you said, I think it's going to be a really close series. I think something like goaltending is going to be extremely important. And then, I feel like I'm beating the horse on this because we talked a lot about it last series, but special teams too. Maybe this time more than ever because that Montreal power play, it goes. And there's a lot of dangerous players on there, and they scored 5 power play goals last round. Now, a lot of that came in the first game, but still, you got to maintain, you got to control their power play because I think at 5-on-5, you're probably slightly the better team.
Yeah.
But if their power play gets going, and if it gives their players confidence, Caulfield only had 1 goal in the series prior Slafkovsky had 3, but all of them came in game 1, and he can see the score sheet the rest of the series. Demidov, I don't think, had any goals. You let him build confidence on the power play, that's going to feed over to 5-on-5, and you're then up in an uphill battle.
For more comfort.
Now's the perfect time to make yourself comfortable with a new electric heating and cooling system from Belknap.
In Western New York, summer and winter bring extreme temperature conditions. Make yourself comfortable with Mitsubishi electric heat pumps, designed to keep your home cool in the summer and warm in the winter, no matter how hot or cold it gets outside. Call Belknap today to learn more.
I'm Gary Garfel, president of Belknap. We work on your schedule. We don't charge more for weekends and evenings. That's why we say,
give Belknap a ring.
Cause I don't need boxes wrapped in strings and design and love and
Earlier in the playoffs, there was a rumor it was going to be like Johnny Resnick banging the drum, and it wasn't. I got a rumor on who tonight is. I'm going to hang on to it for a minute. I did tell the chat, though, the YouTube chat. Sometimes if you're watching or you're streaming on YouTube and you get in that chat, you get like a director's cut. No one wants to answer a question. Like, what came up earlier today? How many words do you type per minute came up? Who knows? All right. Liam McHugh is going to join us on the other side. And Eric Engels, Sportsnet Canada as well. Sportsnet Montreal. Exciting, exciting times. Tonight, Game 7 on the way. We got to get Rush Hour Hauer in here. He goes to a lot of the parties in the Plaza and Canal side. I need like a primer. Like, tell me what to expect. Is it what I think it is? Do I want to be down there? Will I want to be down there for the first period? And then say, like, all right, I'm going to go somewhere else now. You know, all you see from the party in the Plaza right now is the gate that they knock over when you score a goal late. So we'll see. We'll see. Jeremy and Joe. Joe's out on leave. Back in a couple weeks. Game 1 tonight. Round 2. Let's go. Who's the most important player in this round? We got round 1. Most important player might have been, I mean, you could make a case it's Alex Lyon after what he did for his 4 games.
Yeah.
You can make a case it's Tuck. You can make a case it's Krebs.
Could.
I mean, Krebs had a great series. You could make a case for Doan or Benson or whatever. You've got a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Who will it have to be that is either the best player or gets a different outcome this time around? I feel like Tage will be an interesting answer here because he didn't find the back of the net after Game 1. But I don't think he played poorly.
No, I think he generated a lot of chances.
I saw numbers on exactly that he was one of the top 5 in the league in generating chances, and 5-on-5 play was tremendous. He was great in Game 6. And did you watch – sorry, all over the place, really. Did you watch the Quest for the Stanley Cup thing? I posted it yesterday.
I didn't get the chance to sit down and watch that yet.
They're doing a kind of like an embedded, like a Hard Knocks-ish kind of thing where there's a narrator and it's just video, and they're talking to players and a lot of on-the-bench stuff. And there's some cool things in there that I think Sabres fans would love. So if you check Quest for the Stanley Cup, it's TNT produced, I believe, and it's on YouTube.
It reminded me a lot of the old Road to the Winter Classic series on HBO that
exactly.
I used to love as a kid.
It's a lot like that, and the Sabres series, it's like 12 minutes to watch a recap of the Sabres series. It's a lot on the fans. They talk to Jason Zucker and sit down with him, and they've got a lot of bench audio. You'll get more Lindy coaching in that 12 minutes than you've seen in a long time. So that's cool. One thing I appreciated, and I'll probably remember like 5 or 6 things along the way. But one thing that's in that little 12-minute feature on the series is, I think it must be Game 5. It's Game 5, and the Sabres are struggling to score. They got the goal on the power play, and Tage on the bench, his attitude and his how vocal he is and the things he says, he is NHL Network. Sorry, not TNT. Thank you, NHL Network. His confidence is not a problem.
Yeah.
He's out there saying, get it to me again. It goes in next time. I'm putting the next one in. And he's talking up his teammates and talking how, get it to me again. Next time you find me, that's going in. And then in overtime, Game 5 overtime, he's looking back and forth up and down the bench saying, who's going to be a hero? Who's going to be a hero? I'm going to go get this one. And like, you know, I wonder if some teams might be afraid to talk openly about like who's going to be a hero, and obviously most teams might not. But I saw that in that moment and thought like, all right, he's not the least bit, you know, right. This dude won the gold medal. He scored important goals in the Olympics. It probably, you know, got him ready for big moments, big games.
We've made it Game 1 of Round 2, Sabres Canadiens at KeyBank Center. Sam Carrick back at practice yesterday. He's day-to-day. For more, you can visit Paul Hamilton's pieces on our website, WGR550.com. If you want to listen to WGR's Hometown Call with Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray as you watch Sabres versus Habs playoff games, here's all you need to do. You need to download and open WGR on the free Odyssey app. Pause the Sabres versus Habs game on your smart TV or DVR at Faceoff, and when you hear Dan and Rob with the Faceoff call on the app, you can hit play on your TV, and then you'll be synced up. Puck drop set for 7 o'clock. Some scores from the playoffs. One game last night. Colorado beat the Wild 5-2. They lead their series 2-0. Around the NFL, the Giants agreed to terms with defensive lineman DJ Reader on a 2-year, $12.5 million deal. Packers general manager Brandon Gunkitz said he expects edge rusher Micah Parsons and tight end Tucker Kraft to be back early in the season. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the criminal charges against L'Jarius Sneed have been dismissed, and free agent wide receiver Stephon Diggs was found not guilty of assault yesterday. Don't go now, but round 2 playoff posters are nearly ready for you. Stop by any Paula's Donuts location, and you'll be able to grab the We Love River Hockey poster while supplies last. Hang it with pride at home, win, work, or take it with you to the game or watch party. Paula's Donuts, made with love. Those will be ready for pickup soon. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet, with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Joe Cali for Western New York's Voice of the Fans, WGR.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Game Day, Game 1, Sabres and Canadiens. Jeremy and Joe. Joe's out on leave. In about 10 minutes, we'll check in with Liam McHugh of TNT, who will be on the panel as tonight's game is on TNT. And at 9:30, Eric Engels, Sportsnet Montreal, to continue talking with us about this series as we get a preview, get things started. So, good morning, 803-0550. I have a Let's Get Stupid. I actually have 2 Let's Get Stupids, which, why not? Why not have 2? And the first one comes from a conversation we just had. So listen, it's been like 5 days waiting for this game. I've got 57 more minutes to cover. I'm going to fill it with some goofy stuff regarding the Sabres, and here you go. Here's 2 different versions of Let's Get Stupid ahead of Liam McHugh. I wonder when that one would have been controversial.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Yeah. Before his first game? After that. Anyway, been doing Let's Get Stupid for a while. All right, here are your 2 Let's Get Stupids. Number 1. We just had before the break the idea that you can't wear your red butter knives jerseys to any Sabres Canadiens games in this series, right? Okay, can't wear any. Let's Get Stupid. Instead of that, only red jerseys are allowed for Sabres fans.
Love it.
Yes.
Love this idea.
We'll take away the Montreal fan superpower. Hey, look, we're all in the building. We're wearing red. Oh, no. They're all wearing red.
I love it. I love it.
What if the Sabres could have foreseen this? Actually, we are wearing black and red in the playoffs, and the home games here are going to be a red out. Just all the way in. All the way in.
Watch this.
You just take away all of their power.
I like
Buy up as many as you want, folks.
Yeah.
You blend right in.
I love that. I think that, that should happen.
It would be funny. How mad do you think Canadiens fans would be? Would they come in and be like, oh, what?
Would they change?
Just
would they change?
Would they put on normal clothes that aren't red and be like, I guess we got to do this to differentiate somehow?
Yeah. Or they go to the Sabres
store
and get
the blue jerseys. If you've got a Bills red color rush jersey, you just wear it.
Right.
Some people might think this is surrendering. No, very far from it. It's taking the power back.
It's like espionage in
Exactly.
some weird roundabout
There's definitely
way.
some sort of term for it. Anyway, the one that I originally thought of was I've asked you guys, what you're willing to get for playoff wins and for a Stanley Cup. Previously, it was would you drive where every time you drove your car, you had to have the window down. No matter what, your window was down for the rest of your life driving a car. If you got it was probably for a Super Bowl, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like today would be a day you're driving windows down. The other one was for the Stanley Cup. Would you agree to remake your bed with a fitted sheet every day for the rest of your life for one Stanley Cup?
Yeah.
For me, that's a no. I wouldn't do it for 7 days. It's my hate it. So today the thought I had was, okay, here we are. It's round 2. We have not yet really had nice weather. Don't forget game 1 of round 1. It hailed. It was terrible out. Game 1 of round 2, it's this, 40 and rainy. Would you take the Sabres win the Stanley Cup? This is your weather until September. Today's weather.
Ooh.
Today's weather
Ooh.
until September.
That's a whole summer.
Summer's gone. You don't get summer.
Oh no.
40 and rain, you get a cup. Because I'm walking in at 5 a.m. in this miserable rain. My thought was the Sabres are finally good. And what did it cost you? Weather. April was like the 3rd wettest April ever. This May, what day? It's May 6th.
And we're on track to.
We've had 8 nice hours.
Man, that's a tough
There you go.
one.
Make your trade. Make your trade.
I would do it only because I think I'm crazy for it, but I would have to just get through a summer where no golf, no beach,
golf.
no nothing.
Nope.
So
no nothing.
I'll take a trip to Florida to get my summer.
You can't
for a
leave.
week.
It follows you. You're like Pigpen.
Can't get out of it.
Can't
Okay.
follow
You
it.
thought it was going to be that easy?
Maybe.
Oh, I'll just leave.
So all vacations are toast?
Everything.
Everything is toast.
So this weather would follow me to Antarctica, though?
Everywhere. No matter what.
That'd
What
be an upgrade.
benefit does that give?
Your day with the cup, your cup parade is just a complete washout.
I don't care even a little bit.
No, I think you got to be loyal to the crest here. You got to give up a summer for this.
This is maybe the most difficult one for me personally.
Crest
Yes.
loyalty for 40 and rain is a big test.
It is huge. It is huge. No summer. That's a toughie. I think this is the one that I've teetered the most on, but I would still do it because I'm jonesing for that cup right now after the last series. So
Always next summer. Always next summer.
you're right. There's not always.
They
next
could win
year.
the cup next year.
But I have a guarantee
Maybe.
of summer next year with a non-guarantee of them winning the cup.
I mean,
next year.
you think there's a guarantee of summer. Have you been outside the last week?
You're right.
That's a good point.
Anyway. Yeah, game 1 tonight.
Chad was arguing about whether wearing an autographed jersey after you get it autographed is a good idea or not. And I'm curious what you guys think of that.
It's a good question. I think it depends on if it's like the certified autograph or you just kind of get it drawn up.
I think if you have an autographed jersey, you want to wear it, yeah, go for it. Absolutely.
I think
it's
agree.
your jersey. Some people would get it autographed and want to display it, but yeah, if you want to wear it, sure.
Right.
That means the value to you is that you get to wear it.
I agree. That is my stance as well.
This
I
is
think
not.
you could,
This is not like the sandlot in baseball. An autographed baseball, if you use that, you're going to definitely ruin the baseball.
Right.
Right.
But a jersey, you could try to keep clean, and if you don't keep it all that clean, you kind of don't care. I mean, I'm almost positive. Like my kids' jerseys are autographed by some of the players.
Yeah.
They would have got at training camp or wherever at like Sabres season ticket holder events. And I never give thought to, now that person signed it, you don't get to have it anymore.
right.
So
Right. I totally agree. I think whatever you wish to do with your autographed jersey is perfect.
Yeah. For me, it would depend on the environment. Like, I probably wouldn't wear it to the arena where the pizza flop could happen, like we talked about all those months ago with
Right,
Joe's
with
jersey.
Joe and the Finnegan.
Yeah.
I don't have a jersey that doesn't have a food stain on it. Like the Talender jersey that's 3-0 in these playoffs that I've been wearing a bunch from 06. I mean,
Right.
I don't even know what it's like. Is it coffee? Is it cola? Who knows?
Who cares?
Right. But the buffalo in the middle is definitely not pristine. It has seen better days. So, yeah, I've got no problem with that. I think you're fine to wear whatever you want.
I totally agree with that. I think it's acceptable either way, really.
What else going on in the chat today? They arguing about anything? Are they? Is there nervous energy in our YouTube chat?
There's been a little bit of nervousness. There's a lot of talk about the tickets situation and what that all is going to mean.
Yeah.
And, how upset are we going to be if that happens? If
Montreal, if there's a mild takeover.
Yeah. Also, a lot of if the tickets are this cheap, why aren't we all buying them right now? That's a good question.
Because there are a lot of good places to watch a game. It would be my guess, and it's I don't know. It depends. We jumped in with a season ticket group for next year because we wanted to get playoff tickets for this year. And I'm not going to every playoff game because I'm splitting with 3 other guys and all right, you have game 1, I'll take game 2, I'll wait till the next round. Let's split this one. Kind of doing what we can. So for me, I'm going to my one game. And the idea of buying more, man, the prices are insane. Howard came in here, talked about 0506, how he's still mad that I charged him, $100 a ticket?
Right.
He's still mad about Carolina Game 4.
Yes.
It might have been $125 for a ticket to that 20 years ago. Now a conference final ticket is going to be what? Just face value. $250, $300.
Yeah, something crazy like that.
One quick note we have not mentioned at all today is Consta Helena skating with the Sabres.
Yes.
So he's a member of the Black Aces. The Black Aces, that's a hockey term for the team that comes from your AHL franchise. Their season's over. They come up and they skate and they practice with you. And there's 6 or 7 guys. You would have heard of most of them. But Helenas is the only one that skated at practice yesterday.
Right.
And I wonder what the contingency is where he actually plays. If there's any sort of non-injury based, let's shake it up and get this guy in the lineup. He's put up tremendous numbers.
Yes.
And I don't know, maybe in a freer skating series like this one is expected to be, it'd be better than Boston. Then again, a freer skating series might mean you have to be more responsible and more worried defensively about positioning. So I don't know, but seeing that he was out there was not nothing to me.
No. I definitely think it at the very least signifies that he's at the top of the list. And I think you're what are you waiting for to put him in aside from injury? I don't know. Is it something with the McLeod line changing out? It doesn't feel to me like Zucker or McLeod could come out. Quinn maybe, but I think he's been fine for them on that line. So I don't see that changing. I don't know that you want to put him in a 4th line situation where you're, putting him out there with Greenway and Carrick or Greenway and Dunn or Greenway and Kozak. It just doesn't seem like a role that he would thrive in necessarily. He is responsible for a guy his age that's as skilled as he is. I do think he's got a little more sort of awareness in his own end than the average, player his stature and sort of on his arc would have.
As you mentioned, McLeod for me, he's such a tough player to envision ever taking out.
Right.
Because penalty kill, dangerous on the penalty kill, and he does have he has an elite trait.
Yeah, the speed is definitely
elite, an elite trait, and he had chances in this last series, multiple.
Yeah,
and a couple times he didn't shoot, or sometimes he got into the goalie and gave them an opportunity. So I don't know, not to say he played great, we talked about it with Paul, who he didn't like, and then his names were Quinn and McLeod. Not a big fan of their games in the series, but. I think it would be, whether it's a tease, whatever you want to say about it, it's just tough to get him out.
Yeah, it is.
803-0550 and 1-888-550-2550. To the Western Hotline, Liam McHugh joins us. He, of course, is on the studio panel for TNT. This game tonight will be on TNT. Liam, good morning.
Good morning. How's Buffalo doing?
Buffalo is doing pretty great. It's a little bit rainy, but we can handle it because the Sabres and round 2. Liam, where were you the last time the Sabres were in the second round of the playoffs?
Oh, wow. Pretty sure I was unemployed, living on my now wife, then girlfriend's couch. Unbelievable that I still got married. And living in rural Virginia. I don't know. It's a long story, but a long way from where we are right now. I can tell you that much. it has been a very, very long time, and I'm so pumped for this fan base because they deserve it, and I'm so glad that they get to showcase all their passion, and we get to put it on the air tonight.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of passionate fan bases. Like I think in Buffalo, we might like to take our shots at like the Tampas and the Floridas, but I mean, they support their teams. But a Buffalo-Montreal series, I feel like even for you guys, it's got to give like this infusion of something very new, and of course, very valid that these two teams are here, but also a complete breath of fresh air.
I love it. I don't think we can showcase, especially for our show and the pregame show, the atmosphere and the scene both outside and inside the arena. There's no sense that we could possibly give too much of that because you at home want to feel like you're there. And I don't think that applies to every single arena or every single scene outside. And they're unique, right? Because I think with Montreal, while you get a sea of red outside the arena and it's kind of breathtaking in how large and vast it all is, once you go inside, it feels like you're almost in hockey church, right? It's legends with the torch and the ceremony and the lights. And I remember my 10-year-old was watching with me the other day. He was like, "What is happening here?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's bigger than any other event. It's community. It's what people have waited for." And then you go to Buffalo, and it feels like the greatest party that you should be at, and it hasn't gone on for decades, so it's doubly as wild. But it's still at the same time like there's some wholesomeness to it. There's as many like adults doing crazy things as kids, and then you go inside the arena and you can't hear yourself think. I don't know. I don't think we could show it enough. I'm so pumped, and there is such contrasting styles to the two scenes. I mean, you get torches in one, it looks like the Olympics, and then you get the Blade Gang in the other, and they're banging the drum, which I also think is cool that the teams embrace both of those things.
Yeah. Yeah, the Sabres have certainly, we've birthed a lot of new memes and, characters and all that throughout this entire process. And for the Sabres, Liam, this year, you saw it throughout the year. We'd get our Sabres national games from time to time over the years. And this year was the year where the 10-game win streak happens, and then it kind of just kept on going. Lindy talked about it yesterday, that every time that they've been questioned, they've kind of had answers, and even all the way through the first round of the playoffs, and here they are. And I feel like the players on the team would expect to have answers, because this is not exactly like a 1 month little surge. It's been about 4 to 5 months.
Yeah, and when you go through that long of a successful streak, you have to answer questions differently, right? You can't sit there. And I think years past, when we started to see a little bit of success with this team, what we saw was some offensive flash, and it was exciting and it was fun, and it felt a little bit like river hockey. And hey, this is cool, and we can outscore teams 7-6, and we're just going to skate up and down the ice. We can win these games. But when the game got tough, it didn't feel like Buffalo had a lot of pushback. Here, it's totally different, because now if you're going to have sustained success over the point of months and not just weeks, you have to be able to win games when you're on your B game, and at times when you're on your C-plus game. And I think for years and years and years, that was something that Buffalo was completely incapable of doing. Now they can do that, and they can do it regularly, because it's just a toughness and I think a mentality of going into games that you're going to win battles, individual battles, wall battles, battles for the puck, skating battles. And the idea is that when you're on your game and you're winning those battles, you win comfortably. And when you are off your game and you win those battles, you're still in it. You still have a chance to win. And that's the difference between these Sabres. And because of that, I think every guy on the team believes. And that it's unbelievable how, I think we really undersold and underrated just the idea that, yeah, there was talent, but maybe there wasn't just the belief that they could win these games. Now everybody believes. And the cool thing is watching the fans believe, and we saw that, I think, in Game 1 of the playoffs, where Buffalo really did not have their game. They didn't. The crowd was there. It was electric. They didn't have their game, but oh, my God, did they finish that game. It was just one of the most spectacular beginnings to a postseason that I've seen, and it really encapsulated this Sabres squad and what they've done.
It was a great start to this postseason for us here in Buffalo. How about Montreal with what you've seen out of them? And, you guys on the panel talking about this young Montreal team. They got in the playoffs last year, so this is year 2 for them. They've advanced one round further, and there's a lot to like about them as well. A lot of people talking about these two teams as maybe, we'll see if it happens, like this could be the future of the Atlantic Division, these two teams going at it for a while.
Yeah, it feels that way. It certainly does, given their both teams' youth and talent. The idea that they have some people locked up, fairly long term. So you would think that these are two teams that should be battling near the top of that division for, really the next 7-8 years. I like the fact that they were able to win extremely close, tight games against a team that has championship pedigree. That showed me something. You get 4 overtime games. You get every game's a 1-goal game. Every game's tight. Every game's tense. And you do this against a Tampa Bay team that, went to 3 Stanley Cups, won 2 of them, and has, in my opinion, still among the best big game goalies in the game in Vasilevsky. We saw that in Game 6. And honestly, I think we saw that in Game 7 because those are 2 kind of weird goals that went against them. It's still bizarre that they won Game 7 with 9 shots on goal, and then we turned around and Colorado won their first game with 9 goals. Still kind of wrapping my head around the fact that they got through that way. And I know that Marty St. Louis has said, the stats and no one cares about them once you win. And that's sort of true. But as a coach, it worries you, right? It absolutely worries you because you are not getting through the next round unless you're putting more shots on net, unless you're producing more. And really for them, I think it's about their top line. It's about their stars. Cole Caulfield is a young American star who didn't make the Olympic team. It burned, I'm sure. So what did he do? He went out and scored 51 goals, right? First time that someone in Montreal has had over 50 goals in over 3 decades. But he was quiet in round 1. Suzuki was quiet in round 1. Slavkovsky had a hat trick on a power play, but other than that, pretty quiet. They're not getting through the Sabres unless those guys wake up even strength and produce. When they're on, they're a top 5 line in the league. So that's what you worry about, that they can catch fire. But I think maybe you take some lessons from Tampa Bay, see what they did to them physically. And I think Buffalo can do that because they're big. That defense of Buffalo is tremendous. It is deep, it is big, it is talented. So if they can stifle that top line again, I think that's really the hope for the Buffalo Sabres.
Liam McHugh, studio host, NHL on TNT. Liam, finally, before we go, you got Biz next to you, and he's given up on the Leafs, and then they won the lottery. How long will this out on the Leafs thing last for him?
Hey, Biz grew up closer to where the Sabres play than where the Leafs play. And he grew up often going to Sabres games because it was quicker. I imagine it was less expensive because Leafs tickets are pricey.
Yep.
And I'm sure his family's like, let's go down there and watch. Biz came to Buffalo earlier this year. I was personally a little bit worried. Things were going well for Buffalo. I really don't want Biz to ruin this entire thing. He went, you guys won, and, Rob Ray's paddling him on the ice, and we continue to roll from there.
Yep.
I think there's a chance that Biz officially jumps on the bandwagon tonight. He's offered that out there as a possibility. Erik Karlsson offered him Pittsburgh status. He declined that. I just don't know that Buffalo wants it.
Yeah, I was going to say we might have to have a meeting or some sort of tribunal to decide if we're going to allow that.
It's kind of a mush.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that you want it, and I think almost Biz decides that if he likes the team, he won't jump on the bandwagon at this point because he doesn't want to ruin it for everybody else. But I don't know. I could see him getting caught up in the moment tonight and just deciding this is it for him. He's going to roll in on rollerblades or something, start hitting people, and all of a sudden he's a Sabres fan.
Well, we can't get too worried about guys that are a mush. Josh Allen banged the drum in Game 2, and they did not win that game.
Exactly.
And we forgive him pretty quickly. So, there's my words of encouragement to Biz. Liam, thanks very much tonight for this, and we'll be watching tonight.
All right, thanks, guys.
Liam McHugh, NHL on TNT studio host, joining us here On the Western Hotline, tonight's game is, of course, on TNT. Now that we get into the later rounds, it is away from MSG and onto TNT and ESPN and all the family. Of course, you can hear the games here on WGR. So if you want to turn down the radio, turn down the television, turn up the radio. Dan and Rob will have the call of Game 1 tonight beginning at 7 p.m. When we return, Eric Engels, Sportsnet in Montreal, to talk about the series from the Montreal side of things and, how they like their chances up there. Game 1 approaches. Jeremy and Joe here on WGR. Who's the most important player in this round? We got round 1. Most important player might have been, you could make a case it's Alex Lyon after what he did for his 4 games.
Yeah.
You can make a case it's Tuck. You can make a case it's Krebs.
Could.
Krebs had a great series. You could make a case for Doan or Benson or whatever. You've got a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Who will it have to be that is either the best player or gets a different outcome this time around? I feel like Tage will be an interesting answer here because he didn't find the back of the net after Game 1. But I don't think he played poorly.
No, I think he generated a lot of chances.
I saw numbers on exactly that he was one of the top 5 in the league in generating chances, and 5-on-5 play was tremendous. He was great in Game 6. And did you watch – sorry, all over the place, really. Did you watch the Quest for the Stanley Cup thing? I posted it yesterday.
I didn't get the chance to sit down and watch that yet.
They're doing a kind of like an embedded, like a Hard Knocks-ish kind of thing where there's a narrator and it's just video, and they're talking to players and a lot of on-the-bench stuff. And there's some cool things in there that I think Sabres fans would love. So if you check Quest for the Stanley Cup, it's TNT produced, I believe, and it's on YouTube.
It reminded me a lot of the old Road to the Winter Classic series on HBO that I used to love as a kid.
It's a lot like that, and the Sabres series, it's like 12 minutes to watch a recap of the Sabres series. It's a lot on the fans. They talk to Jason Zucker and sit down with him, and they've got a lot of bench audio. You'll get more Lindy coaching in that 12 minutes than you've seen in a long time. So that's cool. One thing I appreciated, and I'll probably remember like 5 or 6 things along the way. But one thing that's in that little 12-minute feature on the series is, I think it must be Game 5. It's Game 5, and the Sabres are struggling to score. They got the goal on the power play, and Tage on the bench, his attitude and his how vocal he is and the things he says, he is NHL Network. Sorry, not TNT. Thank you, NHL Network. His confidence is not a problem.
Yeah.
He's out there saying, get it to me again. It goes in next time. I'm putting the next one in. And he's talking up his teammates and talking how, get it to me again. Next time you find me, that's going in. And then in overtime, Game 5 overtime, he's looking back and forth up and down the bench saying, who's going to be a hero? Who's going to be a hero? I'm going to go get this one. And I wonder if some teams might be afraid to talk openly about like who's going to be a hero, and obviously most teams might not. But I saw that in that moment and thought, like, all right, he's not the least bit,
timid.
Right. This dude won the gold medal. He scored important goals in the Olympics. It probably, got him ready for big moments, big games. Like with the power play for the Sabres, Chad, it's a very low bar. But it felt like as the series went on with Boston, the power play went from something that was sucking the life out of the team to something that actually looked like it was passable, right? I mean, they got a power play goal from Dahlin, but I thought it was passable, and it was not something that was whatever. You're mentioning confidence there. The Sabres players weren't getting frustrated by it. And if nothing else, like that felt like a small victory, and maybe they can push forward from there.
Yeah, I think they changed some things around for sure. So it did look better at the end of the series. I think part of that was a couple games that Austin was able to get in, and I think there's something to build off of that. Like I said, they got that goal. I mean, if you want to cheat, they technically, you could say the Doan one should have counted for one. So maybe we'll say they scored 1.5 power play goals. It's weird in the playoffs, and how power plays go. You could just kind of hit a heater. And this might be a nice round to kind of hit a small 5-6 game heater with the power play.
Playoff flashback. That's an overtime winner for Tyler Ennis. Game 5, Philadelphia. The series the Sabres would ultimately lose in 7. Is today in history or no? No, probably not. Yeah. But that's a flashback for you, or a playoff flashback. Jeremy and Joe. Joe's out on leave. Joining us right now is senior columnist at Sportsnet on the Montreal Canadiens, Eric Engels. Eric, good morning.
Good to wake up to that voice.
How are you? What a game. What a game day.
Good to wake up to that voice.
Yeah, RJ. Yeah, a lot of people.
I've been awake for the last a little while, but it's good to wake up to that voice.
Yeah. Game 1, his family was in the arena. His wife banged the drum for the Sabres. It was a great moment to kind of start this playoff series, and I know a lot of people are thinking about RJ in these moments and through this run. Eric, we have round 2 that opens tonight. So take us through round 1, how the Montreal Canadiens did it. How did they do it? How'd they get through Tampa?
Did you watch it?
Yes.
It was pretty spectacular.
Yeah, I don't say that meaning like Tampa was this unbeatable foe. In fact, I didn't think so. I'm just, in terms of how they did it, the how-to.
No. Just, first off, I thought it might have been the best playoff series I've covered in 18 years. Just every game decided by a goal. 1-2-goal lead the entire series, which lasted less than 6 minutes. Just incredible saves, incredible hits, speed. The checking game was as good as almost what we saw at Four Nations. Game 6 is probably a game that goes 0-0 to overtime. One of the 3 best National Hockey League games I've ever attended.
Wow.
And, for the Canadians, who the youngest entrant into these playoffs, to beat a championship-worthy team like that, they're coming to Buffalo with some confidence. So it makes for what should be, what I hope will be a series that even tops that one, because I think the Sabres are full entertainment value, full of confidence. These are 2 of the fastest teams in the NHL. These are 2 teams that can score with the best of them, and these are 2 teams that prove they can also lock it down. So, and 2 goaltenders that are on fire, and 2 atmospheres that are probably unparalleled right now in the league. So, I'm pumped as hell, man.
Yeah, we're excited. Game 1 tonight. I think, Eric, both teams might have a little bit of a, won the series while not necessarily getting as much as you might think from, insert thing here. And from what I understand about Montreal, it's like won the series and it was without the top line really popping off.
It's the playoffs. You guys are marked. Kucherov, I would predict, is going to win the Hart Trophy this season. He had a tough time against Montreal. You get into a 6 or 7 game series, you're going to be circled and checked in a way that you can't be in 1 or 2 games sporadically spread throughout 82. There's no space out there. And guys are paid millions of dollars to do exactly that. It is a very hard thing to break through. And the thing about the playoffs is the more you advance, the more runway you have to find it. And, that should be concerning for both teams here if they're facing off against stars that haven't yet popped off. I think Caulfield, Suzuki, and Slavkovsky, particularly as a line when they play together, are a very lethal combination on the counterattack and on the rush. And I think the Sabres managed the puck and had to manage the puck a lot better than they did in the regular season against the Bruins because they play a tight lockdown style. And that'll serve them well if they can stick to it against Montreal and not be too tempted to get to that high-octane offensive game that they like to play to get 109 points. If they feed Montreal's transition, those 3 guys that they would circle and say, we got to do the same thing that Tampa did to them, are going to have a fun time in this series. And I don't think that's what they want. You'd say the same in Montreal. They have to be careful in managing the puck. There are some lethal threats on the other side. I watch a lot of Buffalo. One player doesn't make the difference. I think Noah Ostlund missing makes a difference. He to me, really, really impressive player. I don't care how young he is, and I don't care that he had 11 goals and 27 points in 60 games. I watch him. He's a elite hockey mind. I think I think, it comes down to something as minuscule as that one player missing that could end up making the difference in a series, and the Canadians get Noah Dobson back. So it's like, we'll see where it all goes. I think it's going to be really tight. I think it should go 7 games. We'll see who ends up the winner.
Yeah. You mentioned Olsen, like, he came back in Game 3 and really sparked the Sabres, and, it was disappointing to see him go down kind of that freak injury, and he won't be back for the series. The Sabres do get Sam Carrick back at some point, we think. Yeah, but Ostlund, he made a lot of fans in this postseason if he didn't already have them. On Montreal's goaltending, Dobish has been fantastic, and it's been a run for him. Like you mentioned, Alex Lyon's on fire. Lyon didn't start the series as their starting goalie, and he jumped in and did the job. But Dobish has been great, not just this postseason, but the run up to it as well.
Yeah, and he didn't start this season, right? He had to steal the net away from Sam Montembeault, which was made somewhat easy by Montembeault's performance, despite having a great year last year. Then he fought with Jacob Fowler for a down the stretch. Once the trade deadline hit, he morphed into a guy that's been arguably and not arguably by the numbers, because he's got the best goal saved above expected since the trade deadline. Well, if not the best goaltender in the world, certainly one of them. He just took down Andrei Vasilevsky, who, by the way, was a Vezina nom, will probably win the Vezina this year, and was very much in Vezina form against Montreal in the first series. So I just, you have two guys behind their teams here that are as confident as they could possibly be. And aside from one game in the Montreal-Tampa series, which ended up being the deciding game, Canadians didn't force Dobish to be the difference. He was good enough to give him a chance to win in every single game, and he played great. There's nothing to take away from him. He was the absolute unequivocal difference in Game 7. Lyon wasn't forced to be the difference for Buffalo either in round 1, but man, did he give them a chance in every game. And the only guy with a better goal saved above expected than Dobish, there's a couple others. I think Dobish is 5th in the category in the playoffs, and Lyon is 4th, and Lyon's at 4.6, and Dobish is 4.4, just to say he's been just as good. I think there was an argument to make he could have started the playoffs, and I know, Uka played really well down the stretch when Lyon got a little banged up, was it? So, look, in net, even if we see 2 other goalies get in there, and it's Fowler and Big Finn, there's going to be great goaltending in the series.
One last thing for you, Eric. If it had been Tampa, I know Sabres fans would have gone in there with a bloodlust because the regular season got really contentious, really spicy. We had some awesome games here in Buffalo, and Brandon Hagel would have been a marked man the day he stepped on the ice for Game 1. Who in this series will Sabres fans come to hate on the Montreal side?
I don't think they're going to enjoy playing against Josh Anderson. I did a piece with Tom Wilson about halfway through the series talking about how valuable a player like Josh Anderson is. He would know. He's been going up against him since junior in the Ontario Hockey League, fought with him in Montreal, in Washington's bench during playoffs last year. Guys like that skate at full speed and hit everything that moves, we know the value of them. Buffalo has a player like that too. Beck Ballantyne is a piece of work out there, and I love watching him play. I can't wait to see that kind of one-on-one. It's not like they're going hit for hit and trying to match each other, but those are 2 players that are going to impact this series. And that's a guy that, I will say much like Ballantyne, like Anderson, I don't know if he'll draw the hate or ire of Sabres fans. He plays as clean can be. He charges at full speed, and he hits as hard as a truck, and he's one of the few players in the league where, speaking to defensemen from other teams, they can hear him coming. They know he's coming. I don't know if I would circle someone who would be as much of an instigator as, say, Hagel or, say, Benson was to the Bruins. I don't know if the Canadians have that specific type of player that would draw that type of ire, but Anderson's a player that I think is going to make some people in the stands a little nervous with the speed and the physicality that he brings.
Eric Engels, senior columnist of Sportsnet. Eric, thanks. Final pick. I feel like you're going to lean. You said Montreal 7, maybe. I think you're leaning Montreal 7. The Ostlund injury might be the difference.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be the difference. It was just to say that can make a difference when a player like that is out. Look, I think the Canadians have a destiny kind of feeling to them, but I'd say the same thing with the Sabres. It's just like the last series, it's a bit of a coin flip. I'll pick the Canadians in 7. But will I be surprised if they lose in 6 or in 7 to Buffalo? No. So we'll see.
All right. Eric, thanks very much. Enjoy the series.
Pleasure, man.
Eric Engels, senior columnist, Sportsnet on the Canadians and the NHL beat. 803-0550 is our phone number, and 1-888-550-2550 to join us. Josh Anderson. That's who we're going to hate. All right. How many players the Sabres have like that? Like a few. I mean, he said Malmstein. I thought he was going to say Josh Doan, who, of course, hits everything that moves also.
I think Doan might not be big enough to be considered in that Anderson class.
Sure.
I don't think Doan's quite that big. So that's a factor there. Who do they have like that? I mean, it's funny. They've got Tage and Tuck, who are both big, heavy dudes, but they're like skilled forwards that score a bunch of goals. So you don't necessarily think of them that way. But I think they both can have, moments where they can recognize that that's required and use that skill. I think it's more on D. They've got guys willing to do that. I mean, Dahlin is that. Samuelson is that. Stanley is certainly that. They've got a long list of guys down in the back. Even Timmins can get nasty.
Yep.
So that the back end is really where that sort of resides for them, I think. Greenway obviously is another one of those guys that's real big and heavy and will do really anything. They're a tough team, the Sabres. They just are. I think we saw that proved to us throughout this year, despite what we may all still have in our heads about them from the Tage Thompson incident or whatever. This year they are absolutely a tough team. Big, strong, heavy, and mean. That's how they play. They play fast too. It doesn't mean they can't play that way as well, but they're big, heavy, and mean as well.
Extendo Sports coming up. You can give us a ring if you want. We'll pass you off to the Northtown Automotive Extra Point Show as well as we gear up for Game 1. No announcement yet on the drum banger, drum beater, drum thumper.
Drum, yeah, thumper. I think thumper might be the one. I don't know. Drum banger, though, is what we've stuck with.
When we return, I'll tell you who the rumor is. I got the rumor from multiple spots, but the rumor in Game 5 was wrong because the Blade Gang might have been a late addition. Moving parts. These things are more fluid, I think, than people realize. But I'll tell you who the rumor is, and then we'll see what the announcement brings. It's all coming up, Extendo Sports, and then the Northtown Automotive Extra Point Show on WGR. Sam Carrick, what is your read on that? He's back at practice. Did he explain how the timeline all of a sudden got accelerated so quickly? Because Lindy had kind of ruled him out for the series, and then upon further review, actually he's going to practice tomorrow. What ultimately happened with that?
He said the injury he had is not an injury you normally get in hockey, so they didn't have a real good base, all right, well, this is how this goes type of a thing. So he said they basically told him 6 to 8 weeks. First it was 4 to 6, and then it was 6 to 8. And he kind of had six weeks in his mind. But he wound up getting out ahead of schedule just because, again, they really didn't have anything to base it on because, as he said, it's not an injury the hockey players normally get.
Right.
He did say there were no broken bones. And he said that he didn't hurt his shoulder. So
okay, we're left to
go from there.
All right. Well, he's back, so I don't have to study the film because he's back, and that's the good news. The Sabres injury report brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. So Carrick gets in. Jeremy Ryan. Well, whatever. We don't know about tonight. Day to day is what they say. I don't know, Paul. Like as you lay it out, not really a hockey injury. Didn't take as long. I feel like I want to maybe accelerate the day to day to thinking he could possibly play tonight.
He did not take line rushes yesterday, and he was out there an awful long time.
Okay.
I mean, we were in the locker room because some of the guys took him a while to come out and talk, and so we were probably in the locker room longer than we ever are. And he never made it into the locker room. He wound up coming to the podium after Lindy. So he was out there a long time. That I always say never. I won't say. He definitely is not playing tonight until somebody says differently, but it just didn't look like it.
Like with the power play for the Sabres, Chad, it's a very low bar. But it felt like as the series went on with Boston, the power play went from something that was sucking the life out of the team to something that actually looked like it was passable, right? I mean, they got a power play goal from Dahlin, but I thought it was passable, and it was not something that was whatever. You're mentioning confidence there. The Sabres players weren't getting frustrated by it, and if nothing else, like that felt like a small victory, and maybe they can push forward from there.
Yeah, I think they changed some things around for sure. So it did look better at the end of the series. I think part of that was a couple games that Austin was able to get in, and so, yeah, I mean, I think there's something to build off of that. Like I said, they got that goal. I mean, if you want to cheat, they technically, you could say the Doan one should have counted for one. So maybe we'll say they scored 1.5 power play goals. So, yeah, I mean, it's weird in the playoffs, and how power plays go. You could just kind of hit a heater, and this might be a nice round to kind of hit a small 5-6 game heater with the power play.
All right, wrapping things up here. Trevor Rush Hour Hauer is in studio with us as our Party in the Plaza / Canal Side correspondent. So, the how-to, the what to do, maybe people are going to dabble down there for the first time. The parties get bigger and bigger. What are the reviews? Give us like the TripAdvisor on the Canal Side party.
Well, I've been to every single one, Jeremy, and I will say it's a great experience. I mean, 2 different screens. You might want to get down there as early as possible because man, good luck trying to find a spot to park. So get there as
Yeah.
early as you possibly can. 2 different screens. There's a bigger one with sound on the left side, smaller one on the right. It was raining all morning long, so if you're going to stand out there in the grass, maybe wear your duck boots if you got any of those.
Yeah.
But the experience there is great. Food trucks everywhere, parked on the cobblestones. I mean, the drink prices aren't as outrageous as they are in the arena. You can get a hay burner. You can actually get 2 of them for $18. I think they go for like $9 or $10 outside, so you can do that. A lot of great experiences, but they only have them for the home games. We've had 1 win in the Party in the Plaza, so the
Fair.
winning record there, we're kind of under 500 in that regard, but other than that, great
good
experience.
beer options, good food options.
Yeah, pretty solid. You got the Labatt Blue Lights, your typical in arena beers that you can drink there. The hay burners are my personal favorite,
Right.
but another really, really fun part about it is just looking at the nameplates on the back of the jerseys.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what I do on my Twitter, I snipe people the nameplates on the back of the jersey, and I call it Jersey of the Day. The Slava Kozlov jerseys and the Alesh Kotolik jerseys, the Yuri Novotnys that I've seen. That is an insane place to go. If you are just there to people watch, you're going to have a great time. If you're there to watch the game, you're going to have an even better time. But hopefully we can have some better home results going into at least game 1 of the semis.
All right. The rumored banger of the drum, the chat was asking, can't we just call that person a drummer? No.
Thumper.
No, you don't become a drummer because you're given a mallet to hit one bass drum. You're not a drummer. I can't sit down at a piano and play a note and be like, oh, I'm a pianist.
Guitar player. Yeah,
I'm not just a guy.
You play one string.
Right.
Yeah,
Don't
you're
sound
I'm
very
not a
good.
guitarist.
Yeah, no.
I can't, you're a guest.
Yeah.
If they ask me on the ice at the game to shoot a puck into the net for a $50,000, I'm not a hockey player.
If I do karaoke one night, does that make me
You're
a singer?
not a singer, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, this is the drum banger. There's banging the drum and then going back to their regular lives. The rumor is that it's going to be William Fichtner.
Oh,
that's the rumor. Who is not on a roster?
He's not.
He's not on a roster.
He was discussed.
Do these drum bangers know of the rosters?
They have to, right?
Starting tomorrow, we're going to name our teams. By the way, we can't just refer to them as Joe's team. We got to get names for these teams.
That's a good one.
Drum-based puns for the team names. That's what we're going to need.
Mm-hmm.
So consider your team names. I'll tell Joe DiBiase he's got to come up with a team name.
I would have loved to go on with Jeff Sanderson. Find somebody who has great playoff success against that team that maybe didn't play for that team. The guy that comes to mind is the Sandman. Put in Sanderson. What do you got? The game winner in game 1, 2 in overtime?
Yeah, I mean they haven't played Montreal in forever, so
Yeah.
your choices are a little slim. All right.
I'm sure you can find him.
Yeah. We'll find out tonight. The Northtown Automotive Extra Point Show is on the way next. Back tomorrow to wrap up, chat about, celebrate, commiserate. Game 1. Talk then. Cheers.